There, you are watching The Morning Show here on Arise News. I'm Ruben Abati.
Good morning, I'm Ayo Myra Essay. If it's raining where you are, I hope you're keeping dry and warm.
Good morning, I'm Rufai Oseni. I'm still doing my birthday countdown for Madam Ijoma Ogugu, but I didn't see the rain at all. Doctor even didn't see the rain at all. But we're just going to be here for the next 3 hours to keep you dry and warm. Sit back, relax, let's kickstart your day. The morning show begins right now.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says there is no going back on his directive to redeploy police officers from VIPs to national security, insisting that ministers who feel exposed during their duty must seek clearance from him. At the same time, he has set up a multi-ministerial committee to resolve payments owed to federal contractors. These were among the key decisions reached at Wednesday's Federal Executive Council meeting. In another development, Governor Ademola Adeleke has emerged as the governorship candidate of the Accord Party after the governorship primaries held in Osogbo and observed by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and other observers. The governor scored 145 votes, while 5 votes were voided. The governor, who was the sole aspirant for the position, accepted the nomination, saying that his record of achievements and the goodwill of the people will guarantee victory for the Accord Party in the 2026 polls.
Joining us later on the program is Kolakbo Alimi, Commissioner of Information and Public Enlightenment. He will be speaking on the defection of Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke to the Accord Party. Also, we shall be engaging Honorable Tese Ubo, member representing Kwande Ushongo Federal Constituency, Benue State. Honorable Ubo will be discussing insecurity in Benue and the recent visit of the American delegation to the state governor.
Right, we'll also catch up on news making headlines across the globe. Adefemi Akisona will bring us updates on the foreign scene and world brief. We'll review today's newspaper headlines across the globe. Rotu today will give us an update on global business outlook, while Audio will fill us in on what's trending around the world and highlight impactful stories on our milestones and our good news report. It's going to be all that and a whole lot more today on The Morning Show.
It's still the morning show here on Rise News, and now we take a look at news stories making headlines around the globe. President Bola Tinubu says there is no going back on his directive to redeploy police officers from VIPs to national security, insisting that ministers who feel exposed during the course of their duty must seek clearance from him. At the same time, he has set up a multi-ministerial committee to resolve payments owed to federal contractors. These were among the key decisions reached at Wednesday's Federal Executive Council meeting. State House correspondent Adesuwa Moran reports.
It was an unusual scene before the Federal Executive Council meeting went behind closed doors. President Bola Tinubu made his position clear, restating an earlier directive that police officers guarding very important personalities and ministers must be redeployed to strengthen national security.
If you have any problem of security because of the nature of your assignment, please contact the IGP and get my clearance.
The president again gives specific instructions to the heads of security and intelligence agencies, review structures, ensure coordination, and arm forest guards where necessary.
The Minister for Interior should liaise with IGP and the civil defense structure to replace those police officers who are on special security duties, so that you don't leave people exposed. NSA and DSS to provide further information and form themselves into a committee and review the structure. It should be effective.
Turning to the Vice President, Tinubu urges him as chairman of the National Economic Council to sensitize governors on exercising their constitutional power to help end open grazing and its attendant security consequences.
We must eliminate the possibility of conflict and turn the livestock reform into economically viable development. The opportunity is there. Let's utilize it. And it is a neck. If we emphasize the constitutional requirement, we see that the land belongs to in the state.
Hours later, ministers emerge with approved memos. But first, the president's displeasure over unpaid contractors.
In the course of the FED meeting, the president expressed very, very grave displeasure about the fact that contractors are being owed money. He actually said he was upset. And then he set up a committee of about 6 ministers and said he should look into the problems of giving funds, of paying those contractors.
Months of frustration boiled over as contractors have sustained protests outside the Ministry of Finance, many camping for days, saying delays in payments were crippling livelihoods and businesses. And as part of measures to resolve the crisis, the president has set up a multi-ministerial committee comprising the ministers of finance, budget and economic planning, works, education, housing, marine and blue economy, the Director General of the Budget Office, as well as the chairman of the Nigeria Revenue Service. The council also approved 5 memos from the Ministry of Trade and Investment, including contracts worth over 245 billion naira for 200 electric buses and the Eco Atlantic City headquarters of the Bank of Industry. It also adopted the long-awaited Nigeria industrial policy.
The hugest of them all, the last memo on industry was the approval for the adoption of the Nigeria Industrial Policy 2025. This policy was validated a few months ago, to the general claim.
On aviation, the council approved major upgrades to navigational systems and airport infrastructure across Nigeria.
The second, third, and fourth one are infrastructural improvements, real infrastructure in navigation equipment. The president is very, very concerned about improving the navigational aids in Nigeria. He has told me a number of times that he wants Nigerians to fly safely within our airspace.
Nigerians have witnessed directives on security ignored severally in the past, including a presidential redeployment. Today, President Bola Tinubu is reiterating his orders, insisting no going back. But the question remains, can he enforce compliance and resist pressures from VIPs insisting on police protection? Well, the government's ability to turn these decisions into actions will be closely watched. From the presidential villa, Adesua Omoruan, Arise News.
Well, meanwhile, the Nigerian Senate has expressed serious concerns over the withdrawal of police orderlies attached to senators, saying the move could expose members to unnecessary danger. Deputy President of the Senate, Barao Jibrin, disclosed that the leadership of the Senate held an emergency meeting on the issue on Tuesday as it seeks to secure exemption for lawmakers. In a point of order, Senator Abdul Ningi said while he has no issues with the withdrawal, he is disappointed that the directive is being flouted. He wants strict compliance with the presidency, the office of the vice president, and federal ministers. The Bauchi senator said while his police orderly has been withdrawn, he continues to see some businessmen, including foreigners and celebrity singers, being escorted by contingents of police officers. The Senate mandated its Committee on Police Affairs to investigate the alleged disregard of the directive and file a report within 4 weeks.
This thing should go across the board. It should not be, don't worry, it should be done across the board. Let's see what happens from the office of the president to the vice president, to the Senate president, to the Speaker of the House, to the ministers. Mr. President, I'm coming after they have withdrawn my only orderly. I saw 2 convoys of ministers, and they were carrying lots of security personnel. I have also seen business concern, Chinese and other business concern. Yesterday, with the compliments of orderlies. Mr. President, I have also seen daughters and sons of political office holders having orderlies and having security covers. Mr. President, I have seen singers having orderlies and complementary of protection.
Yesterday, I'm sure you saw us, we had leadership meeting. This was discussed and we took an action. We expect the outcome of that action to be available to us today in respect of the police orderlies that were withdrawn from the senators. It's of concern to us, and I will raise the issue, and we're dealing with that, in the formal line, so everything will be done. We're on top of the situation. But in respect of those, the fact that the directive of Mr. President being flouted, where you have the class of persons that he just said, singers, businessmen, and what have you, having policemen. The chairman of the Police Affairs Committee should take up this matter, conduct a proper investigation, and let us know why is the directive of Mr. President being flouted.
Well, in other news, as Nigerians prepare for the end-of-year holidays, air travelers are groaning over the sudden hike in airfares. Arise correspondent Godfrey Eshemoge reports.
Nigeria has witnessed a massive hike in airfares over the past 2 years, driven by rising aviation fuel costs following the removal of petroleum subsidy. Now at the peak of Unitide travel, many passengers are lamenting the reality of paying far more to fly. This December, one-way tickets on some routes crossed 300,000 naira, nearly 150% higher than off-season prices.
Considering, if you are doing a fast booking, it's usually the rate goes to 300 and above, so it's actually a bit cheaper. It's quite unfortunate. It's due to, they said, due to aviation fuel now, the rate for the aviation fuel is a bit high. So the rate at this festive period is quite expensive. So that's why the rates are like that. But I believe that the government should actually look into it to see how these prices can be subsidized for we the locals in the country.
I think the authorities have to look at it. There have to be some form of regulations. And I feel if our roads are safe, a lot of people want to use the road than actually flying. There are a lot of people that are scared of flying. But I think this is a wake-up call for government to also ensure that our roads are safe. And it's festive season, so people are ready to pay whatever it is for their safety, because it's safety first. If you look at going by the road and God forbid something bad happens, 250 to 250 million for example.
Air travel, once seen as elitist, has become the fastest option for many Nigerians amid security concerns. But demand this festive season has pushed ticket prices to record highs.
Of course, I would have driven. That's what I used to do. But because of this bandit incident, kidnapping incident, because if they hold you, the 300 and something thousand you will pay won't be anything to. So you better cough it out and have your safety than spending your lifeguards on your side. Then you spend millions, to see yourself. So that's
Arise News took up the situation with the Minister of Aviation.
The industry has long been deregulated. The moment Babangida said private airlines can come in and fly, they deregulated in terms of pricing and all of, just like a free market. And so government has absolutely no power to fix prices for private enterprise, including the aviation industry.
The major question now is what has suddenly given rise to the over 100% hike in airfares. Godfrey Eshamoge, Arise News.
The Senate, through its Committee on Foreign Affairs, screened more career ambassadorial nominees on Wednesday. Those screened were Ambassador Sulu Gambari Ahmed from Kwara State, Ambassador Ahmed Mohamed Monguno from Borno, and Monica Okuchuku from Anambra State. Others include Onaga Kingsley, Enugu State, Besto Maimuna Ibrahim Adamawa, and Aminu Nasir, Katsina State. The State Senate also screened non-career ambassador and serving senator from Ondo State, Jimo Ibrahim. He was simply asked to take a bow and go. A career ambassadorial nominee from Ekiti, Adeyemi Emmanuel, was however unable to mention the names of all the 3 senators representing the state.
Permit me, even though in absentia, to recognize my senators, Senator Michael Opeyemi Bamidele, and Senator Raphael Adeyemi Adaramodu. As you may be aware, today the Ekiti State launched its airport. And so, therefore, my 2 senators are in Ado Ekiti to participate in that event.
But just for the record, you stated 2 senators. I'd like you to mention the name of your 3rd senator, please.
The Senate leader informed me that I should stand in for him here to confirm, to support the nominee from Ekiti. That is Ambassador Adeyemi Emmanuel. However, it's not too good if you are from Ekiti and you don't know your 3 senators. And to make it worse, you told us you have 2 senators in Ekiti. That's what, excuse me, please. That's what you said.
No.
Please. And I noticed, that's what you said. You said 2 senators from there. And to worsen it, I noticed when your partner was going to show you the 3rd senator. The 3rd senator is Senator Fashri Sire. On behalf of the people of Ekiti and the Southwest, I do seek that we pardon his error. Simple questions. If you don't know, simple things. Say, please. I'm sorry, I don't know this. We don't expect you to know everything. Okay, just to add that. Thank you.
I wanted to comment on what Dixon just said. It's not about you are not meant to know everything in life. That is fair. No man should know everything in life. But this one you should know. You are coming to represent, or you are nominated from Ekiti State. You are coming to the Senate. You ought to know the 3 senators that represent your state. It's not a frivolity. There is no frivolousness in the question that has been asked. You are going to be a diplomat by the grace of God. If and when cleared, no, as an ambassador, you'll be representing Nigeria in the country. You should know this sort of questions at the very least.
Well, a rowdy session on Wednesday erupted in the House of Representatives as lawmakers debated a motion alleging that the Central Bank of Nigeria failed to remit over 5.2 trillion naira in operating surplus and an additional 11 trillion naira in government revenue. Sponsor of the motion, Honorable Bamidele Salam, says fresh findings by the Public Accounts Committee reveal major discrepancies in CBN records, prompting calls for the CBN governor and relevant agencies to appear before the Public Accounts Committee.
is a very simple issue. If you are not in agreement with a position taken by a member, you reserve the right when the question is put for you to say nay. You are not in support. And the nay will carry the, if they are the ones on you need to be shouting to get your way. It's not supposed to be so. Please let us stop this. Honorable Marcus said, I'm warning you. If you don't stop this behavior, believe me sincerely, and Honorable Kabir Mepalas will take you to ethics. I do not want to set an example in this house, but you are trying to force me to. If we continue to behave or rule in this house.
Public Account Committee computed the collection from the data supplied by the Central Bank of Nigeria to be 19,834,886,731.77, leaving a difference of 11,098,385,523.19. The fourth category is the missing balance on the take-on Central Bank of Nigeria core system. Further note the discovery of a migration discrepancy amounting to 2,626,325,119.825 naira being outstanding and payable to the federal government asset recovery account. Concerned that cumulatively, the committee has uncovered that the Central Bank of Nigeria is indebted to the federal government of Nigeria to the tune of over 11 trillion naira, arising from the foregoing infractions and discrepancies. Disturbed that despite several formal communications and invitations extended to the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria by the Public Account Committee to appear, provide explanations, and remit the outstanding amount into designated government account, the Central Bank of Nigeria has failed, refused, or neglected to honor the invitations or effect the required remittances as directed by the committee.
I rise to amend the motion ably moved by Honorable Babidele Salam for the House to resolve to compel the CBN governor, to summon the CBN governor and relevant agencies involved to appear before Committee on Public Accounts unfailingly.
In other news, Governor Ademola Adeleke of Osun State has emerged the 2026 governorship flag bearer of the Accord Party with a pledge not to take confidence reposed in him by the people for granted. The voting began with the accreditation of 5 delegates each from the 30 local government areas of the state and was monitored by officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Inter-Party Advisory Committee, among other election observers. The governor, who is the sole aspirant, was declared the winner, having polled 145 votes out of 150 votes cast by accredited delegates that took part in the primary election. He was subsequently presented with a certificate of return by the national chairman of the party as the flag bearer in the coming Osun 2026 governorship election. In his acceptance speech after the victory, Governor Adeleke pledged not to take for granted the impressive confidence reposed in him by the people of the state and the Accord Party.
I accept my nomination and election as the governorship candidate of the Accord for the 2026 governorship election. I assure you that I will not take it for granted. By God and man, I vow to lead our great party to victory in 2026 by the special grace of God. The Electoral Committee has delivered on its mandate to conduct free, fair, credible, transparent, and acceptable, peaceful governorship primary.
Well, in sports, 11 days to the start of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. Super Eagles coach Eric Shell is at the center of a tense standoff with the Nigeria Football Federation over unpaid salaries, as he's yet to unveil his final squad for the tournament. The 2025 AFCON will be played from December 21 to January 18, 2026 in Morocco and Nigeria, and the 23 other sides are allowed to select up to 28 players for the 2025 finals. The deadline for naming squads is Thursday, December 11, and the mandatory release date for clubs to make players available is Monday, December 15. Well, these are your news stories. A number of things happening. It's like everything, just towards the end. We have a FEC meeting, police protection, Nigerian Industrial Policy 2025, ambassadorial list on remitted funds by the CBN, Governor Adeleke being now emerging as the governorship candidate from the Accord Party, and of course AFCON. Today, I believe, is 11th of December, so today is the deadline.
I just hope they are not going to continue the level of shame that we had by not qualifying for the World Cup. Because this was the same thing that happened before we played Gabon. We had to play Congo and we couldn't sail through. It is one problem or the other with the NFF. So the question now is, should we have to beg President Tinubu like we literally begged him the last time to make these funds available? Or how are they going to release these funds and trying to be able to avert this damage and this disaster? But you see, with this sort of a scenario, I'm not expecting anything great from the team. I like to cut my expectations according to the threshold of my heart and how I can take heartbreaks. Because I don't want to invest my expectations in this team and I feel hurt. Are you surprised about the ambassadorial list? I mean, these were the things we talked about. An ambassador that wants to represent his country. Take, for instance, I'm sure he will be passed. And he's in a country representing Nigeria abroad. And a young child from a school in that country says, I want to know more about the state you are from. And please, Ambassador, can you tell us some of the senators in your state? And he gives that child a false and wrong information. And it's not only this from Ekiti State. There are many others like that in that list. And we think the character is phony. The character is despicable. And President Tinubu just made this ambassadorial role a job for the boys. And we've always said it. President Tinubu, enough of all of this paddy-paddy and politicking, because it doesn't bring about competence. We need competence. So is this the bunch of people we waited for 2 years? Then you must be humoring all of us. Because when you look at the list, some green shoots here and there, but pervasively leaves much to be desired. Very despicable, to say the least, that some quality of persons there will be the ones to represent this our great country. And in fact, it's an indictment on President Tinubu's government. And the joke is on all of us. As regards President Tinubu's directive, I deliberately asked because I like to fact check myself. When he first made the order to withdraw police officers from VIPs, did he put any proviso? Dr. Bati, you told me no. Then the president makes that same order again and starts to put proviso. So it just shows that what the president said before was not workable. A president gives a pronouncement in a country, it's not adhered to. There are many leaders in their own right that they feel they are more important than the president's pronouncement. Even the president succumbs to pressure. I know his handlers will say it's because he listens to people. But if the handlers say because he listens to people, the proviso I will also put to the handler is that didn't he think through the decision at first before he made it? Because with most things in this administration, they don't think through decisions. Just like the presidential pardon, just like the ambassadorial list. It's after they do it, then people kick against it. They say, oh, we could have done this better. Just like the ambassadorial list where the Attorney General had to now review a list already put out by the president. So now the president has started reviewing his own, giving a proviso saying, we should go and meet the IG to clear with him. How shambolic. Because for what it's worth, everybody will have a reason to still have police guards with them. And they will give the IG some cockable story. And he's going to make concessions. Take, for instance, we're joking, we're having satire at full blast yesterday about the president's son. I don't think they're going to take a lot of the guards off the president's son. So it just again shows how decision-making process is very faulty under this administration. How we say these things because we expect better. And they are not doing better. So now that he has given the proviso, it's as good as not making the law. And you will see how everybody in the world will have a justification to meet the IG that need police protection, including ministers that use outriders. But I think the deeper part of the conversation we should ask is, how did Nigeria get to a point where everybody needs a police escort because of the level of insecurity? You hear when we're talking about airfares, that's report by Godfrey Shemoge. And the man said, the reason why I will decide to pay over 300,000 is because what's the cost? If you drive on the roads to do over December, or your Christmas, and they kidnap you on the road, you pay millions and you might still lose your life. So that's the kind of problem we face in our society. And we can blame all the airlines all we want, but what about the taxes by the government? The government helped to cushion effect. Minister Kiyamo was saying something. He said, yes, the system had been deregulated since the 90s. People can bring in their airline. Yes, but what about the heavy taxes that the government control? But I also remember at a point in this country, former CBN Governor Emefiele, when the prices of air tickets went up, he cushioned the effect by bringing in aviation fuel at a subsidized rate for the airline companies that reduced the prices. So what is the government giving us this in return? So it was obvious now that about a year ago when the government did the free bus scheme, it was just to, make the people like them. Because when people are groaning from the hardship and disaster, someone will have asked, where is that scheme now to help the people? But the other question you stretch it to be is that was the scheme even effective in the first place? Didn't we see shenanigans across board? So as it is with every license day, is why people have mistrust. When the government says anything, people don't believe it. And real quickly, the CBN conundrum is another thing I want them to look into. That was enunciated in the House. We need to be able to see through that CBN conundrum. Then Adeleke going to Accord and getting the party ticket. For the legal expert, and I would like to ask his information commissioner when he comes. I also remember that Adeleke did purchase a form, and he was also the sole candidate then. What happened to that form in the PDP that he purchased? Is it going to have any knock-on effect on this form? So it's on record that he has purchased 2 different forms from 2 different political parties. And I'm saying all of this because we live in a very litigious society. Our politicians have perfected the art of using the court system against adversaries. Will this crop up? Will this not crop up? Only time will tell. But a lot of conversations out there.
No, let me deal with the Adeleke part first of all. No, he already resigned November 4 from the PDP. Subsequently, the People's Democratic Party held their primaries in Osun State. He did not take part in that. Even if at any time he had expressed interest, that expression of interest was overtaken by events. The PDP now finding itself in a manner in which it is factionalized, not knowing, which way INEC will go based on legal advice. And that was why I argued yesterday and before yesterday that what Governor Adeleke has done is to just play for survivor. But our court party will need to be built up. It will need to mobilize the Thumbs Up community in Ekiti State to build that party into a stronger political party. He has an advantage. PDP is divided. The APC, they've disqualified some of their more prominent persons who may then decide not to be active in that campaign. But at the end of the day, you never know. If PDP survives, he may well return. And as I've argued previously, it's just calculation for survivor. Very quickly, let me go to the central bank. Now, the central bank yesterday was accused by the Public Accounts Committee. I think it was Senator Salami, right? Yes, that's his name, making that point. And he was saying that the CBN has to be summoned to come and explain this unexplained 5.2 trillion that is hanging somewhere and another 1.1 trillion that has not been added to government expenditure. Now look at it. The CBN makes profit through foreign exchange transactions, bank charges, and all of that. And that's different from his running costs. He keeps that money aside. He can use that money, either for anti-development purposes or for pro-development purposes. What we have seen, under Olayemi Cardoso is that he's very reluctant to invest in development issues. And I say this by citing the example of Emir Sanusi II when he was CBN governor. He intervened in a number of projects supporting, supporting development. Emefiele he was so involved in the development process that we started saying he was overstretching himself. Okay, that the bank should just focus more on monetary policy. But a CBN, a central bank, as banker of last resort, as banker to government, as the agency involved in monetary policy, can use its surplus, let me use that phrase, to involve in development. We have raised a number of issues this morning about persons not being paid. ICANN, that is the All Indigenous Contractors Association of Nigeria, they've been carrying placards that government is owing them for projects that they have completed in 2024, running into between 500 billion to 700 billion naira, and that the total debt is about 4.1 trillion. And then the CBN is sitting on, as alleged, 5.2 trillion. The Bank of Industry is not funded. I think one of the senators was talking about Bank of Industry. Now, what are they doing with that money? The Bank of Agriculture is underfunded. Many of these ministries, do they even have money? Have you ever heard anything about the Minister of Steel Development doing anything? What are they doing in that ministry? Have you ever heard anything about the Ministry of Environment? What are they doing in that ministry? If they don't get the money, they will not be able to do anything. And then you say the CBN is sitting on almost 6 trillion naira. So I support the request by the senator that the CBN should come before the Accounts Committee, Public Accounts Committee, and the Senate to explain how it is supporting or not supporting the development process. Now, then you talk about Eric Chow. Now, the president said they should pay Eric Chow months ahead, up till October. They paid him. But I hear that one senior official of the NFF is now saying, oh, they will pay him. But he's supposed to announce the squad today, and he has not announced. They say he has not complained, so he's looking at them. So we are going to AFCON. We are having issues with payment of 3 months' salary and bonuses to the Malian Frenchman that we brought to come and help us. This is his third major assignment, and we are hearing stories again about bonuses and allowances. As for ambassadorial screening, the man who does not know his senators, well, the name that he didn't give is Fashui, Siri Fashui. Ekiti is represented by Siri Fashui Adaramodu from Ekiti South and Bamidele Opeyemi from Ekiti Central. But what I don't understand is why Senator Jimoh Ibrahim was asked to bow and go. And I don't even know what Senator Ibrahim, who is doing very well in the Senate, wants to do with ambassadorial appointment, because he's a very active politician. But if it is his choice, but they should at least have asked him 1 or 2 questions. Maybe ask him to name the 3 senators from Ondo State. But let them pay the indigenous contractors, because when we say contractors are not doing well, if you don't pay them, they say they are facing financial ruin. They've borrowed money. Some of them are dying. Another, they have to carry placards. Is that the way we treat foreign contractors? And yes, CBN is allegedly sitting on trillions of money that they are not using for any development or progressive purposes.
I think you're right, Dr. Bati. In the spirit of transparency, and I don't know what the rowdy session was for, when we were calling for accountability with the Central Bank of Nigeria, particularly with unremitted funds running into trillions of naira. We need to know where the funds are, what they were used for, and why due process wasn't followed. And so we doubled down on that and asked for an inquiry into that particular matter. Now, moving away from that, I wanted to just touch on a few stories this morning. A lot before us. And of course, in the course of today's show, we'll have an opportunity to really dissect in detail some of them. But for the police protection, as was discussed yesterday at AFEC, one of the things that we talk about when it comes to policies like this is implementation. So in principle, it makes sense that if we have a shortfall of officers on ground, especially at a time when the nation is grappling with insecurity, and one of the challenges that has consistently been highlighted is the fact that we don't have enough police personnel. Now we're going to recruit 50,000, but before they get recruited, get trained, the president has given a directive that about over 11,000 police officers who are currently pulled out and deployed to actually do what they were trained for. Excellent policy or great policy. But in terms of the thinking through and implementation, there might be, actually would be a lot of snags and bottlenecks here and there, bureaucracy here and there. And that's why Rufai, perhaps the president, having received post his announcement, feedback from different quarters, this concession he has made around, if you need it based on the hazard of your job or a particular assignment or task that you're given, then speak to the IGP of police and IGP, and I will clear you. However, it was also announced that the IG had sent to police officers who were protecting VIPs that if they were found wanting or obeying this directive, they would be ranked lower. They would be demoted in rank. But more than this, if we want a policy like this to work, we cannot punish the police officers alone themselves. We must also punish the perpetrators, the VIPs themselves, who continue to have these police officers as part of their protection, apparatus, as a result of the fact that they themselves are disobeying a directive from the president. Perhaps even introducing a whistleblower policy whereby people who identify these people who are disobedient can send an anonymous message and identify them. It's very easy. People see them at parties, see them at outings, and we can help the president actually fulfill this mandate of ensuring that police officers go back to doing what they were trained to do. I say this because there should be no sacred cows. The examples where this has happened in the past, policies like the spraying of naira at parties, we've seen incidents where in some parties by some figures in society, nothing is done, and then some low-hanging fruits are picked up, made an example of, and that's where we see the end of that. So it can work, but there are a lot of actions, a lot of things that must be put in place. Another thing that was approved yesterday, and I thought was very important to mention, is the Nigerian Industrial Policy Plan. We keep talking about how we must turn Nigeria into a productive nation in order to hit that $1 trillion economy by 2030, or at least see a GDP growth. Now, in order to do that, one of the key policies is the Nigeria First policy, which means that in procurement processes for MDAs, they will be mandated to put first consideration for goods and services made in Nigeria. And that is definitely a step in the right direction. Right from cars that are used, office stationery.
Let's start with his own car.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
that's
why I'm highlighting that particular policy, because it has now been approved, and we are hoping that we'll begin to see the changes, in government, whereby we can begin to promote, just as we had America First, Nigeria First when it comes to goods and services. Also, yeah, you're going to say something. Okay, yeah. So just to land on that. Now, on the airfares, I need to just make a point here. The truth is that, yes, they say the taxes are higher, but taxes haven't increased this December. So there's also an issue around fairness when it comes to competition amongst players. That sector has been deregulated, but in addition to deregulation, it's also the work of the FCCPC and other agencies to ensure that consumers are not taken for granted or not exploited in favor of profits, high profits. When it comes to market forces based on a free market, business owners can decide based on demand and supply to increase fares to, enormous amounts, and it cuts across. If you look at Airbnbs in Lagos, talk about dirty December, price of transportation, even the people who are complaining, who own businesses, increase or hike up their prices, in such a way that a lot of people cannot afford, and it is almost bordering on ridiculous. So this is where we should actually look at beyond the taxes. Taxes have been on for a long time. It's a conversation that's ongoing, but also the players themselves officials not to take advantage of this season to almost rip off Nigerians, and even some services not commensurate to the amount of money that's been asked for. So these are some of the issues this morning I'd like us just touch on this morning. Dr. Abati, you're going to say something?
No, I was going to say, when I was talking about CBN, I spoke about Senate, but it's House of Representatives. Honorable Salam is in the Senate from Osun.
Okay, it's in the House of Representatives.
House of Representatives.
All right. Oh, I had something about the ambassadorial list, but just to say a very quick line on that one. So traditionally, long-standing tradition in the Senate is that current serving members are asked to take a bow and go. But we have criticized that move a lot of times, that even though Senator Jimoh Ibrahim is on those South, but we have to go now.
Solar energy has improved the lives of Nigerians in the sense that we can have a cleaner environment and thereby preserving the earth for future generations. Our mission is to ensure we develop and deliver locally acceptable, contemporary, and innovative solutions in partnership with global organizations to ensure that we become the first and the trusted choice for Nigerians. So the option of having a solar solution at just 30% equity already ensures that you have money back in your pocket, because then you can then pay on a monthly basis over a period of time, which, if you compare with the fact that you're also paying grid, is actually more affordable over a period of time. Then you can have your access to power under your control at every point in time for up to 10 years.
Good morning. Today's weather will be sunny with a high of 31 degrees.
Alexa, music please.
Playing workout music.
Striving for mastery? You need speed, precision, and clarity of purpose. They all add up. Talent is not enough. You've got to prove that you're able to take advantage of unlimited opportunities when they come. And to do that, you need plenty of data. Scratch that. You need unlimited data. And there is no better provider of unlimited data
Access granted.
than your all-powerful Glow router.
Whether home or office, enjoy unlimited data on a Glow router. Dial *312#.
You know, I've got unlimited eyes.
Glow Unlimited.
I'm still watching.
Hey! With Tasty Tom and Derica, your unique bean can make you a millionaire. Buy any Tasty Tom tomato mix or Derica tomato mix promo pack. Reveal the unique bean inside. Dial *8011 *2 unique bean hash. Win airtime instantly and stand a chance to win big cash prizes.
Enjoy delicious meals. Text and win big.
Tasty Tom, Derica Millionaire Splash promo. Become an Odebo this season.
Ike, you are jogging?
This win.
Freshio, a good source of vitamins A, B6, B12, D, and zinc that keeps you active and refreshed on the go.
You're so full of life these days, Ike. Since when?
Hey, it's Friday!
Party tonight?
After this long day of work, and you too, since when?
Freshio, wholesome goodness every day. Grab your bottle now.
We've got news. Freshio Kids Pack is back with a straw hole.
Oh, come, all you dreamers, bold vision in hand. From Lagos to London, across every land. With people and purpose, with capital bright. We're building tomorrow with values and might. Glory to the group we raise, FCMB, our hearts we praise. Connecting worlds near and far, shining like a guiding star. People, markets, bold and true, all unite in what we do.
Season's greetings from FCMB Group.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Joining us now for World Brief and the review of some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Abuja returning. She just came back. Adefemi Akinsanya. Good morning. Welcome back from Abuja.
Thank you, Dr. Ruben. Good morning.
Yes,
thank you. You're most welcome.
For your gifts, always thoughtful. Thank you so much.
You guys are most welcome. Good morning to you all. And good morning to your viewers. Let me tell you what is happening around the world. Now, the Trump administration is proposing that visitors from dozens of visa waiver countries hand over 5 years of their social media activity before being allowed into the United States. Now, the rule would affect citizens of more than 40 nations in the visa waiver program, including the United Kingdom, Australia, Germany, France, Japan, and even South Korea, as well as many others that currently only need an ESTA approval for short stays of up to 90 days. Now, US Customs and Border Protection say the changes are meant to enforce President Donald Trump's January 2025 executive order, which is called Protecting the United States from Foreign Terrorists and Other National Security and Public Safety Threats. Now, going forward, a 60-day public comment period has been opened, after which the rule could be revised or implemented early in 2026. So we'll have to see. Now, could further military intervention be imminent in Venezuela? Well, the South American country has accused the United States of piracy. That's after an oil tanker was seized off the coast of the South American country. Now, in this video footage released by Pam Bondi, who is, of course, the U.S. Attorney General, we can see that this operation took place in broad daylight. It was a joint effort by the FBI, Homeland Security, the U.S. Coast Guard, and as well as the U.S. Department of Defense. Now, oil prices did modestly rise off the back of this move. And we also see that the United States believe that the tanker was moving sanctioned oil from Venezuela and Iran to China in order to fund narco-terrorism. That's the official US line. And when asked about it, US President Donald Trump said that the capture was one of the largest that they've ever taken, or rather the largest that they've taken. And he says that America is keeping the oil. Let's take a listen to what the US president had to say.
Just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually.
What happens to the oil on that ship? Well, we keep it, I guess.
Where does it go? What port does it go to?
Well, you have to follow the tanker. You know, you're a good newsman, just follow the tanker.
Do you know where it was going? Was it going to China?
Get a helicopter and follow the tanker.
Very, very interesting things there. Now, Maduro himself, the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro, says that the United States is trying to overthrow him, take over his country and take control of Venezuela's oil. In a rally organized by his ruling party in the capital, Caracas, he did say that Venezuela would break the teeth of the North American empire if necessary. In the past 4 months alone, the United States has bombed 23 boats in 22 airstrikes, killing 87 people, nearly 90 people. So I think the official number is 87 at this point. So very, very strong accusations there. Now, staying within Venezuela, meanwhile, Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado has made her first public appearance in Oslo after being in hiding for 11 months. Now, she appeared on the balcony in the Norwegian capital in the middle of the night. It's the first time she has been seen publicly in public since January of this year. Now, she made the covert journey despite a travel ban and a threat from the Venezuelan government that said that she would be labeled a fugitive if she made the trip to accept her Nobel Peace Prize. She's obviously done that, but unfortunately, she got there too late for the ceremony itself, because earlier on Wednesday, her daughter, Ana Corina Sosa, accepted the Nobel Nobel Peace Prize on her mother's behalf. The Nobel Institute awarded Machado the prize this year for her struggle to achieve a just and peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy in Venezuela. Well, staying in South America, and there's been quite a ruckus in Brazil's parliament. That's as federal deputy Glauber Braga was forcibly removed by congressional police after he seized the speaker's chair in the Chamber of Deputies. He was protesting a bill that would cut former President Jair Bolsonaro's 27-year prison term for a coup plot. Now, in this issue, we're seeing that Braga occupied the president, Hugo Motta's seat, and denounced the legislation as an offensive that would grant amnesty to coup plotters. Police intervened, they dragged him out, and journalists were expelled. However, the turmoil did give way to a vote earlier in the week, and the lower house did approve the bill by 291 votes to 148. So if the Senate ratifies it, Bolsonaro's sentence could shrink to roughly 2 years and 4 months, and over 100 of his supporters could receive parole. Huge news happening over there in Brazil. Let's take a look now at our national newspapers. As ever, we begin with the front page of This Day. Let's take a look at what This Day is showing us today. I know this was very, very, very controversial, but yes, let's take a look at our newspapers. As ever, we're leading with This Day. This Day does lead with reports that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has ordered the withdrawal of police officers from VIP and ministerial duties. He is insisting that they focus on protecting vulnerable Nigerians, while the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps will take over VIP security. He says that ministers who need protection must seek IGP clearance first. That's clearance from the Inspector General of Police. Also on the front page of This Day, we are seeing reports that the PDP national chairman, Tanimu Kaburu Turaki, is reaffirming the party's mission to reclaim equity governorship. Meanwhile, we also see that President Tinubu has met with the APC Osun governorship aspirants ahead of the primary on the 13th of December, urging unity and support for the consensus candidate. Let's take a look at another paper. Let's take a look at the Vanguard. What do we have? Lovely. Okay, so the Vanguard is reporting that the Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Ministry is negotiating with Burkina Faso after the country seized a Nigerian Air Force C-130 plane and also took into detention 11 soldiers that landed there due to a technical issue. There have been conflicting reports over whether or not the aircraft and the crew had been released. There had been back and forth. The Vanguard is one of the many publications that says that they have not yet been released. But as I said, there have been conflicting reports as yet. Now, moving on to the leadership paper this morning, let's take a look at what the leadership has to say. So, in terms of the leadership, I think we're looking at aviation, yes. So the aviation minister, Festus Keyamo, this is him right up here. He met with the Senate. The Senate had summoned him and he responded to the Senate over these soaring airs. And he says that the government cannot fix prices. This is a fully deregulated sector, he says. But he did cite the fact that foreign exchange costs and aircraft leases are key drivers of the high fares that we're seeing. But he did say that recent reforms and cheaper dry leases, in terms of deals for dry leases, will boost competition and help lower ticket prices soon. So you can imagine that many Nigerians are hoping that that soon really, really means the paper today. Okay, so the Guardian is also looking at how and why these tickets are so expensive. 54 taxes, charges account for 35% of aircrafts. This is what is happening. But one story that we wanted to focus on is equity on the Guardian. So the Ekiti State Governor, Biodun Oyebanji, has said that the state has spent 49.7 billion naira on the Ekiti Agro Allied International Cargo Airport. 14 billion naira of that was spent under former Governor Fayemi, and over 34 billion is added by his administration. So the governor is essentially saying that this airport is a collective legacy, and he's welcomed its first commercial flight. So huge congratulations to them. Moving on to the New Telegraph this morning. Yes, the New Telegraph reports again that President Tinubu has set up a panel to address this 4 trillion naira owed to the federal government contractors. I know you were talking about many of these stories in the early part of the show. The president is expressing his displeasure over the backlog, and he has directed a committee is made up of key ministers and top officials in order to draw up a plan to clear up those debts as soon as possible. Shall we take a look at another paper? Let's look at the Independent of the United Kingdom. Okay, very interesting stuff here. So just on the bottom here, you've got the Independent saying that essentially, they have released a report. They revealed a report that Britain, the United Kingdom, is the only G20 nation to strip people's citizenship en masse in what is being called a racist two-tier citizenship system. And then finally, bringing us back to the World Brief stories, but the Metro is taking a look at this issue. So the football fans traveling to the United States for the World Cup next summer could be turned away at the border if they posted any anti-Trump memes in the last 5 years. This is under the president's new entry rules, which we discussed in the World Brief. So football fans, if you know you want to go to America for the World Cup, might want to take a tidy of your social media if you want to be let in. That's what they say.
It shows what America has become. It's a clear dictatorship. But you see, the thing about eras like this, it will pass. See, it's so shocking now that under Trump, things America used to do covertly. I mean, look at going to steal oil from Venezuela. That's clear stealing.
Off the coast of Venezuela.
Off the coast of Venezuela, you went there, you stole. Things America used to partner, you know, with local groups and terrorist groups to do. Yes. Trump does it overtly and, you know, like, there's no holds, but my fear, and coming to Machado, is the fact that if Machado finally even gets there, she's American leaning, it's just going to perpetuate this America hegemony, and it goes on and on again. My second point I would like to talk about today is, you know, I was talking about trust of this government. That's why trust is an all-time low. Yesterday, this government issued a statement saying that, oh, there's nothing wrong with our troops that were detained in Bobo Dioulasse. They were treated very well. Apparently, talking to someone from the federal ministry shows that that thing turns out to be a lie. Now they are negotiating with the Burkina Bay authority. These were the same people that said nothing happened. So, and that's why when people are asking about, was there a note verbal or was there a note verbal about Burkina Faso? You see, these things just erodes trust. How do I feel when I analyzed this issue yesterday and I said, oh no, I will take my own Nigerian sovereign state over Burkina Faso? And just a day after, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, oh, they are negotiating, they're trying to get them out. They were actually, you know, taken forcefully and all of that. And it turns out that an initial message from my own government turned out not to be true. And you want me to trust my government. I trust Nigeria, but government should do better. Be clear. Tell people the truth.
Okay, I think why that story is important is because we're on air when the news broke around the report released by the Nigerian Air Force and was signed. That was a signed statement. And unfortunately, when we begin to hear stories like this around, oh, we're now negotiating, there's something not quite right. So I do expect another report, an official position, so that Nigerians can, like you said, just this trust deficit, because now should we take statements signed by, you know, the authorities with a pinch of salt, when that should be the final bus stop. If they've spoken, it means we take that. And I did say, and I continue to maintain that I'll take on the Air Force's position because they're supposed to be the ones in the fray. But we should be able to trust whatever it is that they have released to us as the truth and nothing but the truth without mincing words. This is contradictory. Now, very quickly on the social media move, or asking for 5 years of your social media records by the United States. It's still under consideration. Yes. There'll be 90 days February, up until February, for public commentary to see whether or not they'll go forward with it. But it moves away from where currently you have what's called the ESTA program, electronic system for travel authorization. It means that some select countries who have good diplomatic relationships with the United States can just go online to apply for a 90-day temporary stay, less than 90-day temporary stay in the United States of America. Countries like the UK, New Zealand, Israel, Qatar are part of this scheme. Now, under this new policy, what it means is that you will now have to provide your social media account. In the past, there was a place for you providing your social media account details, but it was optional. Right now, it will be mandatory. Also, you cannot, if you say you don't have a social media platform, then unfortunately it will be suspicious, unlike before when it wouldn't be taken very seriously. So a few things around the change in America's immigration policy.
Okay, about visa restrictions in the US. You know that recently 2 National Guards officers were shot by Afghan, refugees, so to speak. And then President Trump said he was going to further restrict access to US visas. In January, he has signed what is called Executive Order 14161. What they are trying to do now is to further enforce that by saying you will give family information everybody in your family. If you have ever taken selfies, you will provide it. You will give social media account for the last 10 years. You will give a telephone number that you have used you will give social media telephone numbers that you have used in the last 5 years. So it's just to restrict, access to the United States. And the president has been saying that since January. Secondly, in Brazil, now the issue of Jair Bolsonaro divides the country right down the middle. And Jair Bolsonaro's party, the Liberal Party, has the majority, the conservative wing, in both the lower house and the upper house. So what happened yesterday is to be expected, and it could happen again with Braga seizing and Bolsonaro being accused of having planned a coup after the 2023 general elections. As for the US, Skipper was said to have been an illegal vessel being used to support terrorists. Now, it used to be an Iranian vessel called Adisa. Then it became Skipper. And this time around, it's flying on another country's flag. And then they discovered that, and they went after it. Guyana flag, it is, But the U.S. is putting pressure on Nicolas Maduro, and there's no end to it. 32 boats have been attacked. Over 87 persons have been killed since September. And U.S. General Gerald Ford, the largest aircraft carrier, is in that axis. And it was from there that they launched the attack on this particular vessel, which President Trump is boasting about. We'll see more escalation, unfortunately.
All right, well, thank you so much, Adefemi. See you again tomorrow. Please travel more often, because we always feel the impact of your travels. Our international correspondent, thank you. We'll take a short break now. When we return, we'll have Rotu Sudiri to give us updates on global business activities. Stay with us.
Parts of the world, girl child are not recognized in the family. I hope all this problem holding down a girl child did not hold me down.
The idea behind the project is to identify schools that we think the parents are not economically empowered to sponsor their children to schools.
In demonstration of our commitment to reducing that number, we've come here today to provide some of the essentials that we believe would help the children in school. We worked with different schools in 5 states across the country, and we reached out to 15,000 children.
I want to be a food scientist, and Polaris Bank is helping me realize this dream. I'm perfectly excited.
It's like every other year. My wife wants to paint, and our own kind of budget just makes me want to faint. 50 pockets of paint? Make it make sense. I'm only dropping cheddar if it's using Santex.
Santex? Yes, Santex. The amazing durability is more than mere text. Rich quality paint within your budget. So make the smart choice. Paint to Santex. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with a smart choice. Santex paint. Santex paint. Smart choice.
Paint your dreams on the walls of your reality. Choose Santex paints for its rich quality, vibrant colors, and long-lasting coats. Available at authorized Santex paint stores across Nigeria. Santex paint, the smart choice.
Progress no dey happen just like that. It dey come from support when you need help.
Mommy, I got the school fees. You too much.
Now money point to
money point. Thank you.
Customer, now transfer abi confirm.
Bro, na transfer.
Now money point to that. Oh, na confirm.
Progress na peace of mind when you know say payment go land at Sure Banker. Progress na small wind where they carry person go far.
No worry, yourself go make am. Come go buy ball.
Victor, even you can use money point.
Of course now, they use money point.
Confirm.
Money Point, made for your progress.
Support the Special Seats Bill for Women.
For far too long, our women, the backbone of our communities, have been underrepresented in the very chambers where decisions about their lives are made. This bill is not about privilege, it is about possibility, it is about creating a peer platform where our mothers, sisters, and daughters can contribute their wisdom, leadership, and compassion to nation building. Together, let us make inclusion a reality. By supporting this bill, we are securing the future. I call on all my colleagues, on every Nigerian who believes in fairness and progress, to stand with us.
Distinguished lawmakers, your vote for the Special Seats Bill for Women is a vote for inclusion, progress, and the future of our democracy. This message is in Legal Advocacy Center, PLAC.
Hi everyone, have you heard of EV Buy Christmas Bonanza? I guess you haven't.
This Awufu Brekete is starting from November 15th to December 31st. EasyBuy is offering reduced interest rates, discount on screen insurance, amazing gift items, food stuff, and many more. EasyBuy, buy now, pay later.
Yesterday, tell me you know me. I don't know who I was yesterday. Tell me you know me. I am not who I was yesterday.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Now for global business updates, Rotus Odiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Dr. Obasi. Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Rufai, all our viewers. We saw oil prices pick up a little bit with that Venezuela vessel being seized, but they've fallen again. So look, we've averaged $60 for this year. But to Asia markets, Oracle in after the market closed in the U.S., released their earnings, estimates were missed, and there's a lot of worry. This is, of course, Mr. Larry Ellison's company. So tech stocks, there was a lot of worries on the capital expenditure for the company, and I think it fell in after hours trading. So that bled into a lot of technology stocks in Asia, which normally would track Wall Street, because Wall Street was up after the Fed cut rates yesterday, but you can see that there was a divergence there. So China down, Hong Kong down, Japan down, so was Korea, just India and Australia up for this particular day. So we get to the US, and we did see the Federal Reserve did actually vote to cut interest rates, but we had the first 3 dissents since 2019. Mr. Goolsbee from Chicago, there were another vote from Kansas City, the Kansas City Fed chief, and then those two, Goolsbee and I think it's Jeff Schmidt, hold rates in place. The third dissent, no surprise, is Stephen Moran, Trump's appointed member of the board. He voted for a 50 basis point cut, and later we heard Trump saying he wanted 50 basis points. So this is the third cut this year, 25 basis point. Your Fed funds rate range 3.5 to 3.75%. The dot plot, the median dot plot, there's a lot of division there, but the median dot plot, they maintained one cut in 2026 and one cut in 2027. But there was a lot of division as to how many cuts. Now, one of the main issues that the US is going through here is that they still feel that inflation is going to be sticky to the upside in America. And in the first quarter of next year, Trump's big, beautiful bill is going to be dishing out a lot of stimulus. So there are going to be a lot of tax refunds, which is, you're going to put money in people's pockets. They're expected to spend it, and that's going to, still put inflation upwards. So was one of the, that's one of the reasons why you saw a lot of division, because they don't think they want more cuts. New Fed chair next year, it looks like it's going to be Kevin Hassett. He follows Trump's wishes. So you saw the dollar fall. There's a lot of mixed messaging around what could happen in 2026, because if you are cutting rates while inflation is still sticky, you're asking for problems. All right, so from there, we go to Ghana. Ghana, third quarter GDP, I think this is the main figures to look at here. In the third quarter of this year, Ghana's economy expanded by 5.5. Your blue bars is overall GDP. Your orange bars is non-oil. So you can see here, stretching all the way back to 2023, that non-oil in the orange bars has been the main story for Ghana's economic expansion. So 5.5% in the third quarter. It did slow a bit from the 6.5 in the second quarter of this year, gold, cocoa, and the likes. Agriculture was the main driver. But look at the largest sector. This is something similar we saw with Nigeria. The three largest sectors in Ghana's economy, in blue, you've got services. Yeah, services in blue, 39.7, industry in orange, and agriculture in green. So this is the share of the economy. Much like Nigeria's zone is 50% for services, and was it 20-something for industry and agriculture. So 39.7. But you look at their year-on-year growth, agriculture was the main growth driver. Had 8.6, and then you've got their contribution to economic growth there. You look at the top 5 subsectors in Ghana that grew. Look at fishing, 23.1% growth that boosted agriculture. You've had a strong cedi falling to decelerated to 6% in November from 8% in October in Ghana. The cedi has been pretty strong, and that of course has led to inflation fall. Look at the ICT, 17%, transport and storage, 10.4%, trade, 10%, and crops. So you can see crops and fishing really boosting agricultural growth in the land of the Black Stars. The contracting sectors, oil and gas, no surprise. I just talked to you about oil prices, even though the US sees that Venezuelan vessel. Oil has been weak this year, so oil and gas contracted by 18%. Health and social work is down. Look at mining and quarrying down as well. Other personal services, accommodation and food are falling by 7.2. Now, Ghana, again, as I mentioned, their current account surplus has helped their balance of payments, also trade as well. So they have a surplus of $1.8 billion as of October 2025. Their FX reserves have now risen to $11.4 billion on the back, of course, of gold prices rising and also cocoa prices rising as well. Yeah, that's the FX reserve. Actually, this should be 11. This should be 11.4, not 1.8. So this is an error here. So it's 11.4 billion for the FX reserves. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Stock Exchange, it's very interesting. Last week, to start December, Monday, the market fell and then accelerated through the rest of the week. This week, Monday, the market rose. Since then, it's been falling. But anyway, 5 basis point drop for the all-share index, 146,862 points is where we are. Still, so far this year, the Nigerian Stock Exchange is up by 42.69. Who would like to do push-ups in the airports? This is 71-year-old RFK Jr., who, by the way, is facing articles of impeachment from some Democrats from Michigan. The U.S. is looking at expanding airport infrastructure. So Sean Duffy, who, by the way, is 54 years old, RFK is 71. He did 20 pull-ups. Duffy is 54. He only did 5, but Duffy's daughter then did about 20 or so. But anyway, so Duffy gave us a press conference where he talked about expanding infrastructure in U.S. airports. And they said they got some kind of extra money from Congress. Again, part of the big, beautiful bill. The Trump administration is going to be pumping a lot of money into the economy to do a lot of things. Keep that in mind, everyone listening, because watch inflation in the U.S. next year. Anyway, as part of this extra money that they're going to be getting, they want to expand and possibly add exercise equipment to airports. So here's U.S. Transport Secretary Sean Duffy talking about that.
Pretty wide open on what airports want to ask for a grant, but it might be, I want to expand the play areas for kids. I want additional nursing pods for nursing mothers. Maybe I want a workout area where people might get some blood flow and doing some pull-ups or some step-ups in the airport.
Yeah, and so you had, what's his name, RFK doing them, and then Sean Duffy, and then Sean Duffy's daughter. But that's essentially, yeah, there he is. So there's RFK. I mean, the man's form is, I have to say, his form is pretty good for a 71-year-old. And then we had Duffy after him. So that's pretty much our updates for today.
So it's actually, he made his fame from MTV back in the days, actually.
Yeah,
That was his first,
Sean Duffy, right?
Yeah, that was his first call to,
I think I remember. I'm trying to remember. I think I remember.
Public limelight. Yeah. But you see, I think the success story here is Ghana.
Yeah.
And kudos to Mahama. Many things he's got right. But the real point that has turned the economy around is the reforms in the Galamsey sector. And maybe if we are honest enough, we can learn from the Galamsey sector reforms. And I'll give you a timeline. January, there was a machinery registration mandate where they registered all the equipment and they were tracking smuggling. June 2025, there was gold traceability enhancements, where they introduced digital tracking for exports to the UAE men smuggling route of their gold. In September 2025, there was the anti-Galamsey task force expansion and media encounter. Then there were lots of other reforms in the Galamsey sector. Once they could get the protection of their minerals rights, then there was a lot of change, and you can see the numbers. With the level of financial prudence, I mean, look at the state of the economy. If my memory serves me right, he just came in January last year. Because I remember I was in America. In fact, the day his inauguration was going on, I was in the gym in Atlanta. The day his inauguration was going on in early January 2024. In the space of 1 year, he stabilized the economy and is true to type. You remember that major helicopter crash that happened that some government official died? It was a Galamsey enforcement they were going to do. So everybody's on board as regards the Galamsey enforcement. And once they can track those things and make the minerals of the country count for them, you can see the upsurge and the results. So maybe we can learn from if we are honest. But here, 2 out of 3 times we will not be honest enough to implement that same implementation he did.
All right, okay, so the last video you showed on Sean Duffy, that conversation came about based on exploring ways to make travel experiences better for the American people and people who use the airports. In fact, the report was that Sean Duffy had called a few CEOs of some American airlines, and he had asked them, and one of the things they highlighted, and I want to point out the fact there was healthy eating and healthy options for American travelers to enhance travel experience. Now, a question was posed to him as to whether or not he could influence a reduction in the price of food sold at the airports. And he said, no, market forces control that. And so what they can do is to provide more options. And I say this because of the Nigerian context. Earlier on, I talked about market forces and the airfares in Nigeria, how it's deregulated. So when it comes to fixing prices, there's little or nothing or to a limited way that the government can intervene. However, what can help in a free market is options and ensuring that there are viable options to bring down cost of prices. And that's why there are conversations as well around government responsibility or providing alternative options for people to travel and secure and in terms of security, so that the airline operators don't have monopoly on prices in addition to all the other costs you've talked about. But that's what we're saying, that when it comes to talking about the airfare prices, we must look at it holistically. Look at what America is doing. Look at the problem they are solving, how to make healthy eating. But it was just around that question on how, bring down the prices of food. And it's down to market forces. But what you can do is provide options from a government perspective to ensure that, operators do not take advantage of the people. And I believe that in the Nigerian context, we can also talk about that when it comes to airfares.
Okay, you are talking about, Duffy and RFK Jr., looking at how airports in the US can be family friendly. And that's an example that you have shown. How can we make airports in Nigeria family friendly? From even the environment, the carousel is not working, the toilets are bad, the infrastructure is antediluvian. And then, you have senators talking about ticket fares. Now, I know that government can support the aviation sector. After all, the US, during COVID, provided about $54 billion to support the aviation sector. There can be some kind of support. I'm not asking for subsidy, but where there are issues, government can provide an enabling environment for aviation. But there's something they do in Nigeria here. The roads are not safe. The trains are not safe. So people, the only option they have, particularly at this Utah season, is to travel by air. And then what they do, if you buy a ticket in the morning, if you book it in the morning, they give you a particular figure. In the evening, they will tell you double the price. If you wait till another 1 hour, the price has changed. Now there's price fixing. And the minister says it's market forces. The market forces should wear a human face. There is what is called ticket buccaneering for the sake of profit in Nigeria. That's what we should, address. Why we ask that government should also support that sector. As for the dot plot, Federal Reserve, yes, they say there will only be one cut next year, another one in 2027. The power will no longer be there. Jerome Powell is going to leave next year, May. And Trump is saying, oh, they should have been doubled what they did. Should have been, 50% basis points. So there's a lot about what to expect next year. But clearly, at this moment, it was not unanimous. They voted 9-3.
Yep.
2 governors wanted a steady rate.
Yep.
One said, oh, there should be half-point basis rate. That's Governor Milan. The other 2, the governor from Kansas and the governor from Chicago. So that's what has happened. But, Powell is saying the U.S. has an extraordinary economy.
Indeed.
So the major surprise was the bond market that they say tomorrow they are going to buy 40 billion. And silver that I mentioned yesterday has also gone up. Now 62.05 per ounce dollars, that is. Thank you very much. We'll take a short break now. And when we return, we'll be talking to Kolakbo Alime, Osun State Commissioner of Information and Public Enlightenment, on the defection of Governor Ademola Adeleke to the Accord Party. Stay with
My mama no lie, yo. Food waste with na money kill and plus everything combined, oh. Everything combined, oh. Ogbonge just the arrive, oh. She tell me say na devil king, so yeah, oh, she get use fry, oh. Yeah. Now why the jello fit dey sweet like this? Chicken dey crisp like this. Fry the plantain.
The new Devon King's soya vegetable oil, available in stores near you.
Hello, everyone. I'm here with the woman that makes all the things happen in Fidelity Bank, the MD of Fidelity Bank.
FNITCC was conceptualized in 2022, and the whole idea was to create a platform where our exporters lead with the global community are able to showcase their products. What we do in the banking industry is to always try to meet the needs of our customers, and we could see that the exporters were struggling with. They didn't have a global stage on which to showcase their goods. We did so much initially in terms of capacity building. After that, the products were made, were put in proper quality, packaging and all of that. So the next step naturally is to take it to the global stage, especially if you focus on making world-class products.
Like they say, build it and they will.
Don't worry about it. Build it and they will come.
All right, ma'am.
We are Fidelity. We keep our word.
Eniola, calm down.
Calm down? What if I ruin everything? Auntie Amina is coming. Just pass the beef and dawa cubes. No, Hassan. With Mr. Chef, it's a 2-finger crush.
Chef of life. I am the chef of life. Chef of life with Mr. Chef.
Eniola, you've got this.
Sanu Mama, Sanu Baba.
Haba, Hassan, why do you look so mean?
I am the chef of life.
With Mr. Chef, a simple crush turns meals into culture and moments into memories.
This is a true taste of home.
Mr. Chef, taste home, taste culture.
Chef of life.
My name is Austin Azuko Kocha, but you all call me JJ. That's because I was so unstoppable, they named me twice. During my days as a professional footballer, I played as an attacking midfielder. No one could stop me, not even malaria, when mosquito bites. Now you too can be unstoppable if you use Lonat. against malaria.
Lonat, a combination of Artemether and lumefantrine. Lonat, be unstoppable.
Support the special seats bill for women.
I am in agreement and I support the idea of special seat for women. Historically, women have been disadvantaged in our society for cultural reasons, sometimes also as a result of their unique role in the family. To exclude women is to exclude 50% of our Nigerian population, and that is a huge idle capacity. And I believe that any one of us who have respect for his mother, who have your wife, and you have respect for your daughter, I can't see anyone opposing this. I am for special seat for women, but it should be such number that is practicable.
Distinguished lawmakers, your vote for the special seats bill for women is a vote for inclusion, progress, and the future of our democracy. This message is brought to you by the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, PLAC.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Governor Ademola Adeleke has emerged as the governorship candidate of the Accord Party after the governorship primary held at Osogbo and observed by the Electoral Commission, INEC, and other observers. The governor scored 145 votes, while votes were voided. The governor was the sole aspirant for the position, accepted the nomination, and asserted that his records of achievements and the mass goodwill of the people will guarantee victory for the Accord Party in the 2026 polls. The governor further used the occasion to unveil an upgraded 5-point agenda for the 2026 race, namely integrated citizens and workers' welfare, infrastructure consolidation for economic prosperity, increased agro-industrial expansion for youth empowerment, innovations for health, education, and social care, and improved business environment for job creation. Joining us now to discuss the defection of Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke to the Accord Party is Kolapo Alimi, Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment in Osun State. Honorable Alimi, thank you for joining us on the morning show.
Good morning, Doctor. Good morning, our viewers at home. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Governor Adeleke's movement from the PDP to the Accord Party, a process that began on November 4 with his resignation from the People's Democratic Party. November 6, he declared for the Accord Party. Now, towards the end of the year, he has now formally been declared as the sole aspirant for the party. How strategic is this movement? This is basically, as I have argued, a game of survival, self-preservation. Since APC has its own issues, PDP has its own major issues. Now, Accord Party looks like a safe haven, like people looking for silver and gold when there is rate cut in the US. Hello, are you with me? Hello, Honorable Kolapo Alimi. Oh, okay, yeah, I've phrased the question.
I'm with you.
Yes, please go ahead. Your take.
Kindly pardon me on the last sentence of your question.
No. I was saying, is this just a game of survival self-preservation? That's just the summary.
Okay.
And what do you think?
Thank you for this. Thank you for this opportunity. Let me state that Governor Adeleke loved the PDP, and the movement, I will not call it a defection, the movement of His Excellency Ademola Adeleke to Accord could be described as a child of necessity. It was foisted on him by the recurrent leadership crisis which infected the PDP and which has refused to go. Over the years, which has been so discussed, even on this platform, your station, this national TV, several times, is the issue of the leadership crisis. And our governor tried to make sure that the issue was properly resolved. But the situation got to the height, the highest height, on November 4. What happened on November 4 was that, according to the PDP gubernatorial timetable for Osun, after the form was obtained, the governor obtained the form, attended the screening. The NWC of PDP, by that timetable, supposed to sit and ratify the report of the screening committee on November 4. But from September 30 to November 1, when the judgment of the Federal Court was delivered, there was a suspension and counter-suspension. And so the headquarters, Wadata Plaza, and the other secretariat of a PDP became a theater of a crisis. So the NWC could not sit. And there are some steps which are very, very necessary. So prior to that time, the stakeholders in the states and even beyond, they have been calling the governor. Do you want to risk contesting your second term on this platform, which has been infected with so many litigations? But the governor still kept the hope alive that the issue will be resolved. But when the issue could not be resolved on November 4, the whole stakeholders in the state said leave this party. And as a responsible person, as a responsible head of government, he tendered his resignation. But he didn't make it open because of the fact that the convention of PDP was coming. It was slated for Ibadan for November 15. He didn't want to be seen as among the people, to be among the people that is trying to even contribute more to the woes of PDP. So he kept it, he wrapped it. Now, on November 6, he has decided that, yes, we have to look for another political party, and he has made enough research and joined the Accord. So what happened about 4 or 5 days ago was the unveiling of Accord. And what happened yesterday was that he was nominated, he was given the ticket of Accord. And when you look at the manifestos of Accord, it's in line with the agenda of Ademola Adeleke administration as per the welfare of the people. That is just so the situation which happened was not an intentional one, was not deliberate, but it was based on what is foisted on Ademola Adeleke. And everybody has actually appraised the situation, and they have given kudos to him that he has taken the right decision.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Alimi. Yes, whilst you say that some people have hailed him for taking the right decision, some might also question the choice of his party. Accord Party in Osun State, when we look at the strengths of the party, it's not very well known. It's fielded credible parties in the past, credible candidates in the past, but hasn't quite been able to secure election wins. I know that there's the incumbent factor, but to what extent or how much work must be put in? And do you think that the party will be positioned ready enough for the 2027 elections, knowing that you have the APC and they're coming together? The president met with APC gubernatorial candidates in Osun State, and there's some form of concession there. So they're coming with a united front, stronger. You have the PDP, whoever they would field at the end of the day. Do you think the governor has a huge fight on his hands, and how confident are you that he will be able to position the Accord Party ready for the 2027 elections?
Well, thank you very much. We are very confident. But let me first start from the APC angle that you made mention. The APC is largely existing on social media, and the embark of propaganda here and there. When you come to Osun, you know that this APC is not as strong. They are not really on ground. And let me just give it to you that you should just understand the fact that the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, who happened to be leader of APC in Osun State, was the incumbent who was defeated. And he's still ill and hardy and is alive. He decided not to contest because everybody knew what was on ground. They are trying to use some stooges because he realized that the chance of APC to win the election in Osun, especially to win against Adeleke, is very, very slim. So don't let us debate them. But when you get to social media, you think something is happening. Nothing is happening as per APC in Osun. And couples with the division among them. What you are seeing, the president being the father of the country, could not invite anybody, and the person will say no. That's just me and we do dress it. Let us leave their own issue and let us face our own. As per the issue of Ademola Adeleke and the Accord, let me give you 3 factors. First and foremost, as I'm talking to you today, all the structures of the PDP are already in Accord. That is just it. That is the truth, because Ademola Adeleke did not just jump out of the ship of the PDP on his own. It was a collective decision, and because the decision was foisted on us, and there was not enough time for us to say we will continue to wait. You understand it? And everybody believed that we should not take the risk. The risk will be too high for us. Look at what happened in Zamfara at that time. When all elected officers were declared, the election were annulled, and their position were given to the second runner. And so everybody has been talking about, even before the governor took a decision. That is one. Secondly, which is a very great factor, is that you can't compare Ademola Adeleke to others in the past, because Adeleke dynasty in Osun is a very, very powerful dynasty. The father of Adeleke, Senator Raji Adeleke, was a senator in Osun, well-loved, well-rooted, the first executive governor of Osun State, His Excellency, late Senator Isiaka Adetunji Adeleke Serubawan, a great philanthropist, well-rooted in this state. He has done well. And Ademola Adeleke himself, which you know, he has been a senator, he did well. And the last 3 years, come to Osun and come and see, in terms of welfare, the NSC acknowledged the fact that we are paying 75,500, but our table happened to be the 3rd best in the whole country. So the labor in Osun, you can interview them, you can call them and interview them, or go to the street and interview the workers. You will see that they are not ready to leave Adeleke for any other candidate. And when you look at the pensioners in Osun, they have never had it so good. So when you are talking of welfare of the people, and when you are talking about the artisans, loan to the artisans, empowerment, youth empowerment, and so on and so forth. And when you now come to infrastructure, it's top notch. So what I'm saying is, in essence, is that in the last 3 years, he's speaking for him. Those are the issues. And even despite the shenanigans of our opposition, despite the fact that they are trying to strangulate us with the issue of local government, we are still performing.
Okay, Mr. Alimi, I'd like to get your take on the issue of the local government, because, the Supreme Court has finally given a judgment. That's one. Number 2, the party that the governor is coming from, the PDP, also has a candidate there. He's a very interesting personality. Would you like to speak about that personality and his historical antecedents?
Well, as per Bafrayo, as we used to call him, is not a politician in Osun. He's a politician in Oyo. Nobody know Bafrayo in Osun. So let us leave the issue of Bafrayo. That is just by the way. I told you the entire structure of PDP.
If you go back to the antecedents, he played a role in the political scheme in Osun with the case of Bola Ige and all of that. If you remember that political antecedents, he had played that role. And that's what I want you to talk about.
I remember vividly. I don't want to dwell in the character of anybody. I'm the spokesperson for the government. It's not my duty to be talking about. Other commentators can talk about that. But what we are telling the whole world is that the issue of somebody being a candidate in PDP is of no moment as to political situation in Osun as it is today, because the entire state realized the reason why Adeleke has to move. It is a situation foisted on us. So we are not done about that.
He's the
one. As per the issue of local government,
and he stands a good chance. That's why I'm talking about him. If he's not the competitor to Adeleke, I mean, I will not be talking about him. He picked up the party ticket in the PDP. He has the national machinery of the PDP, and he has the complement also of the PDP governors that once stood with Adeleke that will no longer stand with him today, because you forget that you also need the complement of those governors. We remember the role, that the PDP governors then did play. Now, Adeleke will go into an election where you don't have some PDP governors that stood with him, they're standing with him now. So he's all alone by himself. And that's what I'm talking about. The person that now takes that mantle, that will have the complement of those people with him going into this election. So I know what I'm talking about. If you don't want to talk about it, maybe you're running away from it.
Let me No. I can talk about that one. I don't want to talk about the character and personality of another person.
Are you afraid to talk about the character and personality of Frayo?
No. I'm not afraid. What I'm saying is, it's not my business here. What you have, your second area is what I will discuss as per the support here and there. Let me tell you the truth, which the whole world knows, that almost all the governors in Nigeria who are put friends of Adeleke, they gave him the tactical support. Go ahead, that please, in your own interest, go and contest in another platform. So they are ready to give him support. It is what you know. Let me just paint a scenario for the whole country. Let us assume Adeleke take the risk, as some people has been expecting, and he contested under the platform of PDP. And a month or 2 months to election, either June or May, a federal court somewhere just said Adeleke was not qualified, or was not qualified to contest the election, and is disqualified. What do you happen to the morale of the electorate? The electorate will tell you that, after all, Governor, we have told you to move out, and not those people that has been talking. And so this thing will demoralize. This time around, that will not happen. So the support of Adeleke, both within and outside, is still intact. So forget about somebody being in PDP nominally. That is in theory. In practical, Adeleke is solid.
Commissioner, if you can hear me, we may have external support. People of Osun State that will decide. That is what is important. But let me ask you.
Yes.
He talked about a revised, upgraded 5-point agenda. So what's new? What's been modified? What is he promising in real terms?
Thank you very much. As per the support at home, I will go to your question. The support base of Adeleke in Osun today is almost 90%. You can just come and fact check it.
Upgraded 5-point agenda.
Yes, I'm only coming to your question just to answer the first thing, to comment on the first comment. As per the agenda, the first in the initial 5-point agenda, you discover that the first point agenda is workers' welfare. It has been upgraded now. It is no longer only the workers' welfare. It is the welfare of workers. That's exactly what it's doing. Then the innovation, in terms of innovations, the Startup Act has been signed by the governor, and in the area of innovation, we have a special advisor and also is ranked first now. So we want to focus. We want to add that one to our agenda for the people, so that people can monitor it. Then on the area of agriculture, it's not just to provide food, but we want to focus more on technology in relation to agriculture, mechanical agriculture. So we sat down, we reviewed the situation, we saw what we have been able to do. We now discovered that technology is taking the place, so we need to rebuild our manifesto, and that is exactly what brought about that.
Okay, thank you very much, Commissioner for Information and Orientation and Enlightenment, Osun State, Honorable Kolapo Alimi. We'll take a short break now, and when we return, we'll be talking to Honorable Tessia Ugo, member represented Kwande Ushongo Federal Constituency in Benue State, on insecurity in Benue and the recent visit of the American delegation to the state. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
In this life, it's what you do behind that shows in front.
Now, give us the fire. Tell us more. It's Cosmo or nothing. Luxury or not, this is Cosmo.
That's why I roll with Cosmo deodorant. No sweat, no stains, no odor.
Now you know.
Cosmo Roll-On Whitening Deodorant.
All day freshness, 7 days a week from GVS Cosmetics.
Emergencies happen when you least expect them to. It gets worse when you are cash-strapped. No need to despair. First Advance has you covered. You can get that urgent cash right now on First Advance. With First Advance, salary earners can get up to 50% of their salary. No hassles. As long as you earn a monthly salary and your salary account has been active for at least 2 months. It doesn't matter if you run a salary account with First Bank or any other bank. Just dial *894*11# or simply dial *894# on your mobile phone. What's more, when you open a First Bank salary account, you can enjoy 0 charges and free debit card issuance. Download the First mobile app on Play Store or App Store today. Log in to experience First Bank digital banking. Select loans, select First Advance, and follow the prompts to receive your loan. Don't let that urgent need you. Get First Advance now. It's as simple as dialing *894*11#. First Advance. Fast, convenient, secure. You first. First Bank.
May every move you make this festive season radiate with joy.
Glow Unlimited. Progress no dey happen just like that. It dey come from support when you need am.
Mommy, I got the school fees. You too much.
Na money point.
Money point. Thank you.
Customer, na transfer, abi? Confirm.
Bro, na transfer.
Na money point, Oga. Oh, na confirm.
Progress na peace of mind when you know say payment go land as Sure Banker. Progress na small wind wey dey carry person go far.
No worry, self go make am. Mo go buy ball.
Victor, even you dey use money point?
Of course, now they use money point.
Confirm.
Money point, made for your progress.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. A high-level delegation from the United States recently held separate meetings with Benue State Governor Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia and key religious and traditional leaders in Makurdi. The delegation, which included members of the U.S. Congress, the U.S. Assistant Secretary of State, and the U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, first visited the government house, where they met with the governor. They later proceeded to the Bishop's House in Makurdi for a closed-door session with the bishops of the Catholic Diocese of Makurdi and the Catholic Diocese of Katsina, Allah, alongside the Tortiv, His Royal Majesty James Ayatse. Although the visiting officials did not address journalists after the meetings, Governor Alia, in a statement on his verified Facebook page, confirmed that discussions focused on the security and humanitarian challenges affecting Benue State and the wider North Central region. Joining us now is Honorable Tesser Ugbo, member representing Kwande Ushongo Federal Constituency, Benue State. Good morning, and you're most welcome to the morning show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Ayo.
Honorable Ushongo, let's start with the basic issue. Do you believe, are you convinced that there is Christian genocide in Nigeria?
Well, thank you, Dr. Ruben. I will just put it like this. If the Tortiv of the entire Tiv people worldwide mentioned in front of the president that there's genocidal killings in Benue, if the bishop of the Makurdi diocese himself confirmed that there's Christian genocide in Benue, and if the people themselves who have been killed, people in my federal constituency, in my village, who have been killed and tortured and displaced from their communities for 15 years, systematically refusing their return to their ancestral lands, who am I to deny that there's no Christian genocide in Nigeria? The truth of the matter is there's genocide taking place in many parts of Nigeria. Now, the question is, you know, when we think about genocide, we remember the Tutsi genocide. We remember the southern Darfur genocide, the southern Congo, you know. We remember the genocide against the Jews by the Nazis. So it brings back very negative memories of what genocide actually is. So it is unthinkable that our people, a Tiv ethnic group of Nigeria, Benue State as a whole, will be subjected to genocide. I don't believe that the Tiv people of Nigeria can be wiped out, or Benue State can be wiped out from the face of this country. But the truth of the matter is there is a systematic genocidal attack against many communities in Nigeria.
All right, thank you for setting that. Now, I want to ask you with regards to the U.S. delegation's visits to Benue State. I want to believe that you might be privy to some of the outcomes, even though the governor had spoken out. What are some of the outcomes based on their fact-finding mission? And to what extent do you think, based on your assertion of a Christian genocide in that area, what do you think some of the moves that are being done right now would do to stem that happening, or to stop the killings of your people?
Well, I might not be able to say exactly what was discussed in the meetings in the government house in Benue, or what was discussed during the closed-door meetings with the bishops, because the National Assembly caucus was not invited by the state government to participate in these meetings. Don't forget that as an assembly, we have what we call parliamentary friendship groups, where we engage with our counterparts in America and UK and other parliaments across the world. And I'm a member of many of these parliamentary friendship groups. I have been to Washington, D.C. to meet with our colleagues in Congress in America. So we expected that if a congressional delegation is coming to Benue on a fact-finding mission, then members of the National Assembly should have been invited to engage directly with them. But however it is, we have our channels where we also engage with members of Congress in America and other countries around the world. And don't forget that 2 years into the first year into my tenure in the National Assembly, I sponsored a documentary on the IDPs and the insecurity situation in Benue State. This documentary got international attention, and it is one of the tools that has really showcased the killings, the displacements, and the genocidal attacks going on in Benue State. And so we are hoping that as part of the discussions with the American delegation, one of the things that will be put in place is a mechanism through which we can raise funds and we can come up with programs and initiatives to resettle the over 600,000 IDPs that are currently in Benue State, one of the highest in Nigeria. And this was also confirmed by the representative Riley Moore, who was also part of that delegation, that what he saw physically, and this is what we have been crying about for many years now. Benue State has become the IDP capital of Nigeria, which is really, really unfortunate. And we're hoping that these discussions that have taken place at the state level with the government and with the bishops would have put in place a mechanism through which we can resettle IDPs and get them into productive activities for the benefit of our dear state of Benue State.
When Riley Moore was in Nigeria, his tweet met with a lot of triumphalism on the part of government-loving people. In fact, they retweeted him and praised him. But he has since tweeted again. And please, I want to ask if this tweet represents what's happening in Benue. And I'm reading his tweets now. He says, while in Benue, I met with dozens of Christians who were driven from their home and subjected to horrific violence. They now live in IDP camp. They told the harrowing story. One woman was forced to watch as they killed her husband and 5 children. She and her unborn child barely escaped. Another woman was murdered in front of her, and her baby was ripped from her womb. One man's family was hacked to death in front of his eyes, and his arms were permanently mangled. There are more than 600,000 Christians in IDP camps in Benue State. The Christians should not live in their ancestral homeland with fear of genocide. Paraphrasing. Is this a reflection of what is happening in Benue and what you think the representative member of America interface with?
Rufai, this is absolutely the reflection of what is happening on the ground in Benue State. I have personally cried about this situation for many, many months since I became a member of the National Assembly. In my federal constituency, in my local government, particularly of Kwande local government, we faced this crisis for many, many years. For over 15 years, there's been killings, there's been displacement, there's been mining, there's been rape. Our people are systematically being displaced from their ancestral land. I made an interview some months ago where I said almost 40% of arable land in Benue State has been taken over by bandits and by terrorists. So, so this is a systematic claiming of our land. Our people are not able to farm. Benue State has the highest food inflation in Nigeria because our people are. Benue State used to be the food basket of the nation, but now we have lost that ranking because a majority of our people are unable to farm and are able to live productive lives because of these killings. We've lost a lot of lives in Benue. The IDP situation is really, really bad in Benue State. It is worse than it is even portrayed. I can assure you that we did a documentary. We went around the entire state. We started from Zone C in Agatu, where there's one of the highest cases of IDPs and displacement and maiming and killing. But this is even underreported. Most of the report even talks about the Tiv-speaking areas of Benue State. The Idoma-speaking areas also face a lot of challenges, a lot of attacks and displacement. This issue is really serious. It is time that we take this matter very seriously. The federal government of Nigeria, I'm happy that there's pressure now on the government to do something about this insecurity that we're facing in Benue. I hope that the collaboration with the American government, with the federal government of Nigeria, and with the support of the state government and the input from the state government, we will find a solution and bring lasting peace to this situation. The unity of our people is paramount. It is important that the government of Benue State, along with the leaders across the state, across the federal government of Nigeria, put heads together and bring a permanent solution to this issue. If not, just like what happened in Darfur, or what happened in Rwanda, where the governments around the world looked away. The government at the time looked away until they think the issue became an extreme issue of over 800,000 people killed in the genocide in Rwanda. We hope that our government here, us as the leaders, will not bury our heads and look away until this issue becomes an international genocide that we will not be able to deny, as some leaders have denied recently about there's no genocide, or have denied the extent or downplayed the kind of killings going on. We hope that we don't look away, we don't deny these killings until it becomes too late and we experience full-blown killings and full-blown genocide in our dear country, Nigeria.
I will just pack like 3 questions into one. Very briefly, please. Number one, Congressman Moore was saying that there are about 600,000 persons in IDP camps in Benue. How accurate is that figure? 2, have you finally made peace with Governor Alia because you had sued him for defamation, over the mismanagement of relief materials. So, well, you then said you have withdrawn the case in order not to have distractions. But the problem you raised has not been solved. So, as the lawmaker representing, the federal constituency from Benue, in your area, what are your specific recommendations? Because we should go beyond identifying and analyzing the problem to say, this is what should be done. What do you think should be done?
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Abati. Number one, the figures by the congressman from America of 600,000 might even be underestimated. In fact, the state government figures from the State Emergency Management Agency puts the figures at over 1 million displaced people. Sometimes they even mention 2 million displaced people across Benue. Many of the displaced people don't live in IDP camps. Many of them have been displaced and are living in the communities, have moved to other communities, moved to the local government capitals or to the state capital. So sometimes they are unable to be calculated as a fraction or a component of the displaced people in Benue State. But I can assure you that that figure might even be less than that. The situation is really bad. And then secondly, you mentioned about my relationship with the governor. Well, it was an unfortunate situation. Over a year ago, palliatives were given to me by NEMA to take to my constituents, and the governor seized these palliatives illegally and impounded these things in Government House, even after the recommendation of all the security agencies and even his own staff to release the palliatives. He played politics with that situation and did not release. Eventually, when he released the palliatives, he released it to be distributed to his political cronies and his political friends in the local government, and the palliatives didn't end up going to the people for which I applied for these palliatives for. I sued the state government and the state governor himself for defamation of character, accusing me of diverting palliatives, which was not true. Not one single piece of palliative was missing anywhere. And, the case went on, and the government applied a diversionary approach, a delay tactics for over 1 year plus. The case kept going back and forth, refused to come and defend the allegation they made against me. And so I took it that their inability or refusal to come and defend the false allegations against me was an admittance of their failure and their falsehood against me. But it is time to move on. In politics, you don't fight indefinitely, because I have much larger responsibilities as a member representing my people. So I decided to withdraw the case and leave him to his conscience for why he would have gone the extent of calling a press conference just to tarnish my image at the time he did, which there was absolutely no reason for him to do that. But I've put that behind me. I've supplied way more palliatives and relief materials to our people in the IDPs and the people displaced in my community, so I don't care much about what has happened in the past. And then finally, we've done so much in terms of security in my constituency. I have donated a temporary mobile police station to the people. I have donated military tools and equipment to support the local vigilante in their work to support the security agencies. We have done so much in terms of moving motions and bills and proposals that bring peace and succor. We have spoken to agencies of government and of security to deploy more security and open up our economy to more economic activities. My constituency is a border community with Cameroon. We also border with Taraba, we border with Cross River. And so we need to have a tripartite kind of arrangement where we work with the Taraba state government to ensure that we do a collaborative security arrangement. So far, the security issue in my constituency has gone down because of the efforts that we have done over the last few months and the efforts of the federal government. We have seen a little bit of improvement. The frequency of the killings have reduced now, and that is as a result of a lot of the efforts and the work we have done to support local vigilante, support the local government police to do more in terms of protecting the people, and we have seen a good result, but we hope to see more, hopefully with the support and collaboration with the states and federal government to bring this issue to a permanent end.
Well, thank you very much, Honorable Tessia Ugbo, for joining us on the morning show. We take a short break now. And when we return, Ojiokwe will be here with details on what's trending. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Buying your Airpeace ticket just got easier with Fidelity Bank. When you book on flyairpeace.com, choose Fidelity payment options and complete your payment effortlessly. With Fidelity Bank, you can pay with transfer, fast, secure, and powered by Fidelity. Buy now, pay later, enjoy flexible payments, and travel stress-free. Book on hold. Lock in your travel plans and pay when you're ready. Whichever you choose, every transaction is quick, seamless, and protected. No stress, no hassle. Just smooth payments every time. Because with Fidelity Bank, flying Airpeace isn't just about getting there, it's about getting there with ease. Fly Airpeace. Pay the Fidelity way. Simple, safe, convenient. Visit flyairpeace.com to get started.
We are Fidelity. We keep our word.
Brown Hill Events Incorporated and Glenfiddich present Worry Again, Class and Culture, the 24th edition. Get ready for a premium yet the biggest and grandest one-day show this dirty December. Top bangers, Shali Poppy, Odomoto Black, Spyro, Fiddle, Seri DL, Famous Pluto, Zlatan, Phils, Shango Johnson, Ribena, Shay Vibes, Fola, Ochiaba, Tare, and Nas Boy. Experience our timeless hits, Ianya, Style Plus, Rude Boy, Runtown, Ice Prince, M.I., Duncan Mighty, and Flectorman. You also get to crack your ribs with The Stalker, MC Casino, Edo Pekin, Young Chief, Mr. Paul, Acapella, Cordons, and of course your baddest female DJs, Dope Caesar, DJ Dimple Nipple, and DJ Casper. Hype man is Shody the Turn Up King, and your host is AY. As always, gear up for a big surprise act of the night. Date is December 26, 2025. Venue, the Eco Convention Center, Victoria Island, Lagos. Time, 6 p.m. Tickets, VIP 100,000 Naira at www.worryagain.com. For table reservations, please call. Don't be told. Be there.
Imagine your wallet can be everything. Well, almost everything your bank is to you. That's exactly what First Money Wallet is. First Money Wallet from First Bank is another swift and seamless way to bank from your mobile phone. It doesn't matter if you have a First Bank account or not, nor the mobile network you use. Everyone can open a First Money Wallet, and it's very easy. Your phone number is your account number. With First Money Wallet, you can send money using just a phone number, receive money, pay bills, buy airtime and data for yourself or someone else, and in check balance. You don't need a bank account at all or BVN to enjoy the boundless possibilities First Money Wallet offers. All you need is a registered phone number, and you can fund your wallet easily through your First Bank account or any bank account and debit card. What's more, First Money Wallet is highly secure with fingerprint technology and PIN. And when you need cash, just walk up to any First Money agent near you to withdraw money. No smartphone, no wahala. Just dial *894*1# on any phone. So it doesn't matter if you live in the city or the remotest part of the country. With First Money Wallet, your transactions are easy, seamless, and secure. Download the First Money Wallet app now. Input your phone number and follow the prompts, or simply dial *894*1#. All money now on First Money. You first. First Bank.
Every great journey begins with a single promise.
When I grow up, I'll buy a beautiful house for you and Mommy.
Dear mother, here are the keys to your apartment at Futu Exclusive Resorts by Michelle Holmes.
Own an investment in Africa's first golf resort in Abuja's most affordable exclusive estate. Futu, where your story begins and grows.
Monday morning talking about me while I'm waiting.
Starting and growing a business can be tough.
Debit?
Especially with insufficient funds.
This business is becoming too expensive. My children need to start feeding me.
These figures are not smart.
At Access Bank, we love SMEs, from business loans to flexible cost savings account. We've got the solutions to help your business thrive. With our Diamond Business Advantage account, you can easily access financial support, business tools for growth, business loans, and opportunities to meet and interact with other business owners. Dream big and elevate your business to the next level. To learn more, visit www.accessbankplc.com/business www.stanbic.com/SME-banking or walk into any of our branches to get started.
In the beating heart of Owerri, business never sleeps. From sunrise to sundown, the wheels keep turning. And behind the scenes, vision meets action. Governor Hope Uzodimma's leadership has turned manifestos into reality, transformations that feels like a miracle. But progress needs peace, and in Imo, it's not left to chance. From land to sky to river deep, Guardians are watching, protecting dreams and opportunity. At Orashi's quiet shore, hydropower is rising, set to energize a growing economy. The change is visible. New roads emerge, industry hums, communities come alive. At the center, a digital revolution. 500,000 young minds trained each year to build the future. As Orashi rises, so does Imo and the hopes of a hard-working people. A new Imo is on the rise.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Joining us now with stories trending around the world is Oji Okwe, our favorite day of the week.
Is it Friday?
It is Friday, isn't it?
Oh, Dr.
Oh, it's tomorrow. Oh, okay.
I got so excited.
Okay. I was thinking of the implications coming from you and fight tomorrow.
Okay. So you were just preparing.
I'll wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, just wait.
I
think Friday has become your favorite. I got so excited. I was like, wow. The week ran.
But I hope you guys are preparing for us.
Yes. We're always up to the task. You know that. There's a big party actually on December.
Brought Kilishi.
Yes.
So tomorrow.
Yes, there's a big party for us by MyPad, the people who honored me with the award. So they're inviting you on the 19th, December 19th.
Oh, the 19th.
So there's a huge celebration party as well.
Okay.
Really. Awesome. Yes, so that's another occasion.
It's already dirty December.
Correct.
We can keep having fun.
Dr. Mati, I know one bed, 5 and 6. Good morning, Ayo. How are you this morning? Jollof rice. I haven't heard that in a while. Good morning, Rufy on fire. How are you this morning? Yes.
Let's have it.
All right. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending. As reactions continue to trail Professor Wole Soyinka's criticism of what he described as an excessively large security battalion assigned to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's son, Sheyi Tinubu, the president on Wednesday reiterated his directive to withdraw police officers from VIP protection duties, warning ministers and senior government officials that any requests for special security must receive his personal clearance. The president made at the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja, expressing frustration with the slow pace of compliance since the order was first issued nearly 3 weeks ago.
The withdrawal of police officers from VIP or VVIP. I honestly believe in what I said. And I called on the IG, and I hope the Minister for Police Affairs is here. So if you have any problem of security because of the nature of your assignment, please contact the IGP and get my clearance. The Minister for Interior should liaise with IGP and the civil defense structure to replace those police officers who are on special security duties so that you don't leave people exposed.
All right, I thought that was quite powerful. Well, this is all coming as Senator representing Bauchi Central, Abdul Ningi, protested the withdrawal of his police orderly during plenary on Wednesday, arguing that the VIP police escorts withdrawal had not been applied across the all board. Ningi noted that other political office holders, ministers, business people, and even their family members and singers continue to enjoy police protection while his lone police orderly was withdrawn. Let's take a look.
I woke up today and I was told my police orderly and other police orderlies are withdrawn. Mr. President, I have no problem with that. My problem is that this thing should go across the board. It should not be, don't worry, it should be done across the board. Let's see what happens from the office of the president to the vice president, to the Senate president, to the Speaker of the House, to the ministers. Mr. President, I'm coming after they have withdrawn my only orderly. I saw 2 convoys of ministers, and they were carrying lots of security personnel. I have also seen business concern, Chinese and other business concern. Yesterday, with the compliments of orderlies. Mr. President, I have also seen daughters and sons of political office holders having orderlies and having security covers. Mr. President, I have seen singers having orderlies and complimentary of protection.
All right, Dr. Bati. He's complaining that he has seen even singers have police protection. You wanted to make a comment on Abdul.
The principle of it is that we should be looking at collective security, not individual security. It is all of us are safe collectively that there is security, not when a few of us who, because of the privileges that they are exposed to as public officials, are the ones that are safe with their families. The overall objective should be that there should be collective security. Now, Senator Ningi's point is that what is good for the goose is good also for the gander. And he's saying if you can withdraw the police orderly that have been enjoying since 1999 as a senator, there's no reason why you shouldn't withdraw from those categories of persons that he listed. Well, a senator will be basically of the same rank as a minister. And he said from the evidence of his own eyes, he saw 2 ministers going with a long battalion of security
one of those ministers
personnel, even celebrity singers. Maybe some of those your friends.
I don't know who you're talking about.
But the thing here is that he listed the president, he listed the vice president, he even, I think, included governors, members of their families. Well, I think that of the president, no. The president is commander-in-chief.
Yes, he's entitled.
And he's president.
All right.
He has the vice president, the governors. These are national assets. So you cannot say, you won't provide security for them. While they are in that office, they are national assets who should be protected. What I don't know is about their wives and their children. If they feel that their children should have security, the president should also show example by making sure that it is the civil defense that he assigns to his wife or members, immediate members of his family. But even then, he can lead by example and make sure that they too, they are not unnecessarily protected. During the time of President Obasanjo, did you see any of his children going about with state security?
Yeah, we were only discussing the story yesterday where Professor Wole Soyinka talked about
Obasanjo's children, they move normally around because they are not VIPs. And President Obasanjo did not allow it. When President Jonathan was there, did you see his children disturbing everybody all over the place?
Absolutely.
If they must have security, they can use DSS, they can use civil defense, and it should be done in a very discreet manner. I think is the issue. But the main emphasis is collective security, not individual security.
Yes, and I thought it was great that the president also mentioned, reiterated his point about the removal right off of the back of our conversation yesterday about Sheyi Tinubu's battalion convoy. Well, it just struck the right chord. It was really, really powerful to see that video. Also, the president during that Federal Executive Council meeting had also tasked Vice President Kashim Shettima to lead the National Economic Council in identifying and rehabilitating grazing reserves into ranches, aimed at reducing farmer-herders conflicts and transforming the livestock sector into economically viable development. Well, while this dual approach of addressing root causes of insecurity through the Livestock Reform Initiative and strengthening the police is commendable, questions about the implementation process and whether exceptions will be made for certain officials continue to be debated. And I'll take Ahmad's tweet. He wrote on X, President Tinubu's actions demonstrate pragmatic and visionary leadership by withdrawing police escorts from VIPs. He is redeploying security personnel to frontline duties where they are most needed, addressing manpower shortages and strengthening community policing. At the same time, his directive for an emergency NEC meeting on the National Ranching Plan highlights a commitment to sustainable livestock farming, peace building, and national harmony. Transitioning from open grazing to modern ranching will reduce farmer-herder conflicts, boost productivity, and modernize the agricultural sector. These steps show a government that is proactive, strategic, and focused on safety, prosperity, and long-term well-being of Nigerians. Meanwhile, the president of the Meeti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, Baba Othman Ngezelma, has stated that many grazing reserves in the country no longer serve the purpose for which they were originally established. Speaking in an exclusive interview with Ireti Bakare Yusuf on Borderlines, the MACBAN president also addressed the security crisis, stating that pastoralists wielding AK-47 rifles are terrorists and not farmers, while agreeing that there is genocide in Nigeria. Let's take a look.
More Muslims than Christians. Insurgents have killed more Muslims than Christians in Nigeria. So that is why this issue of genocide, yes, there was genocide, but genocide against who? These are lists of names of people that were killed. You know, there was a time when the media started saying that this is a private business. Cattle breeding is a private business. They should cater for their cows. I laugh. Even airline business is a private business, but government do construct airports for flights to land and take off at the expense of the government. Whenever you see a group of pastoralists moving wolves, dangerous weapons and arms.
What do you mean by dangerous weapons? Because they will move with cutlass, no?
Carrying AK-47
guns, right, guns.
Whenever you see a group of youths with cows carrying AK-47 guns, these guys are criminals, these guys are cattle wrestlers.
Well, Rufai, I know you have different views, but you know, this admission from MACBAN's leadership signals a significant shift in thinking within pastoral communities about the future of cattle rearing in Nigeria by acknowledging that grazing reserves have failed their purpose and distinguishing legitimate herders from armed criminals. The MACBAN president is positioning MACBAN to engage constructively with the government's livestock reform agenda while, you know, condemning the violence that has claimed thousands of lives on all sides of the farmer-herder conflict. You wanted to talk about one of the comments that he made in that interview.
What a very funny illustration.
Yes.
We're talking about livestock business.
Yes.
You're comparing it to airlines. Does the president of MACBAN also know that airlines pay for parking space in the airport? They pay to use the airports? Do they land on the expressway? Does he see plane land on coastal road, except maybe for that plane that was almost crashing on that crashed on the highway?
On a car.
Yeah, on a car.
Yes.
You know, as a safety
In
precaution
Florida,
measure. So does he see airlines landing indiscriminately? So you can see the very funny argument they make. And please, with President Tinubu, what he said, these grazing reserves, it doesn't sit well with me.
Okay.
That is Ruga. Increasingly, we are going back to the days of the conversation of Ruga. You're saying set aside a grazing reserve for people's land that they already own. So who's going to pay for that land? Anybody that wants to do cattle business should buy land and ranch. When this conversation on Ruga was on, King Wasiu Ayinde Marshal showed us a video of how he was taking care of his cow and cattle. If you are interested in this business, but no indiscriminate ranching, no grazing reserves. By the way, despite, so this is my field. I mean, I have a degree in all of this matter. Taking cattle through these heinous conditions in the first place reduces meat quality, reduces the the productivity or the quality of meat, reduces marbling. See, Oji, there's a particular beef called Wagyu, one of the most pristine beef in the world. Wagyu can set you back hundreds of dollars. No, you have Japanese Wagyu and all of that. Can set you back hundreds of dollars. Do you know, if you see where they pamper Wagyu, they will even give Wagyu alcohol. They will give him in a secluded area, cool the temperature of the Wagyu, pet the Wagyu.
What kind of alcohol? Wine, red wine?
No. It's fermented. What's it called?
Yeah.
Fermented to be able to help because Wagyu is said to have very good marbling, very good meat layouts, so that when they cut a sirloin steak or a Wagyu steak and they sell it, a pound can set you back hundreds of dollars.
But so this is what we should be advocating.
This is what we should be advocating, because all of this that they are doing even destroys meat quality. You're having kwashiorkor cows.
Yes.
And by the way,
we eat.
It's not even efficient, because go and check the chart of beef productivity. I'm not sure Nigeria ranks first 5 in the world.
Okay.
So if you want to do it, please, you need to invest in it. Investing in it is getting a place you can pay for, you can lease, where veterinary doctors come to see them. I mean, when we were in UNAP then, we imported some Kalahari goats that were not from this region. Do you know we had to build a shed for them and we have to put on fan for them to be cooling them? In UNAP, when we imported Kalahari goats. So these are the things they should do. And for President Tinubu, it just shows that he has also gone to violate his own decree or statement that he put down. Because you see, that provides so that go and call the IG. I can assure you for free, almost everybody will call the IG and they will prove that there's a need for police officers. So like Dr. Abati said, the question we should ask is, how come we became a country where everybody needs private guards?
Because of insecurity.
It's a failure of the security architecture.
Because of the insecurity.
So if we can't fix that, almost everybody needs private. Shipping, we go to civilized countries. How many the same Nigerians that use police escort here, they enter buses in London. I've met many Nigerian governors in trains in London.
On the other hand, we see senior government officials in
London.
They
go abroad. They
on
don't
their
use
bikes,
they don't use police protection.
They don't need.
Sheyi Makinde the other day was running he ran a marathon somewhere in Belgium. He ran a marathon.
All right. Still on.
Did he get any police protection?
Hey. Still on insecurity. Meanwhile, U.S. Representative Riley Moore, who is in Nigeria on a fact-finding mission, has shared harrowing accounts from Christian internally displaced persons in Benue State following his visit to IDP camps in the North Central State. Congressman Moore, in a post on X, documented testimonies of extreme violence that has displaced over 600,000 Christians in Benue State alone. He stated that he met dozens of Christians who were driven from their homes and that they told harrowing stories that would remain with him for the rest of his life. Now, read Riley Moore's post on X in part. He wrote, "One woman was forced to watch as they killed her husband and 5 children. She and her unborn child barely escaped. Another woman's family was murdered in front of her and her baby was ripped from her womb. One man's family was hacked into death in front of his eyes and his arm was permanently mangled. There are more than 600,000 Christians in IDP camps in Benue State alone. These Christians should be able to live in their ancestral homeland without fear of genocidal Fulani." Well, Riley Moore's visit to Benue IDP camps
brings renewed international attention to the humanitarian crisis in the state, the characterization of the violence as genocidal, and the emphasis on religious targeting may very well increase pressure on the US government to make a stronger stance on Nigeria's security challenges, particularly regarding religious freedom concerns. And of course, the US House of Appropriation responded to Riley Moore's post on X, and they wrote, "America will not look away as innocent lives are stolen," directed by the President of the United States. Appropriators led an on-the-ground mission to inform a report on Christian persecution in Nigeria and guide policy recommendation. Religious freedom and atrocity response are central to our NSRP bill. And I'll take a reaction from a Nigerian user on X. He wrote, "I have to say, I'm genuinely surprised at the amount of effort the US is putting into these congressional hearings. A big delegation in Nigeria going around the country and talking to actual people. Nigerian leaders don't even care that much about this stuff. Very weird and interesting." Ayo, meanwhile, last week, former Niger Delta militant leader, berated Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo, the chairman of the Church of Christ in Nations in Plateau State, who has been outspoken about the severity of the Christian genocide in Nigeria. Well, in the video that made the rounds on social media, Asari Dokubo warned Dachomo to stop spewing the genocide narrative in Nigeria, describing Dachomo as a fake pastor and a pathetic, pathological liar. Let's take a look.
Dachomo, if I place cost on you, you will not last 24 hours. Wallahi billahi isn't. You will not last 24 hours because you are a fake and you are a liar. There's hardly any crisis that is rooted in religion. So the Hausa people, farmers that are being killed in Sokoto and in Kebbi by the so-called bandits or whatever they are called. Why are they killing them?
All right. Asari Dokubo has spoken again. The last time he spoke, he said he was going to challenge the U.S. President Donald Trump if he were to bring boots on ground in Nigeria. Now he's here saying that there's no Christian genocide in Nigeria. I'll take this reaction before I come to you, Ayo. Meanwhile, terrorists holding the wife and daughter of murdered Anglican priest, Venerable Edwin Archie, has released disturbing photographs showing a machine gun pointed at the captives. The images were shared on the late priest's hijacked Facebook account. Venerable Archie was kidnapped alongside his wife, Sarah, and their daughter from their Kaduna residence. Despite the family raising ransom funds, the priest was killed after nearly a month in captivity. The abductors have now hijacked his Facebook account to post new photos of his wife and daughter with weapons pointing at them. The Anglican Church has made repeated appeals for the immediate release of Sarah and Archie, and Sarah and her daughter. This case highlights escalating boldness of criminal gangs who now use social media to turn families in victims' accounts to share distressing images while continuing to hold them captive. This is the new trend we are seeing right now on social media, Ayo. We saw the story of Venerable Archie who died. We mourned him right here on the table. And now these terrorists have released this footage.
Yeah. I think, I don't know if I should blame the terrorists for their brazenness. When we have reports of rescue operations without any single arrest, then you can understand why we can see them become bolder, and even the things that they did not have or dare do would come on board and do this. And it's quite sad to see the effects of banditry, terrorism on lives and families. Since October 28th, this family have been in captivity. We talked about their father and husband being killed and how unfortunately terrible that was. But again, this is perhaps a wake-up call again and again to appropriate authorities to act on this. We don't want, yes, we love the rescues. We are grateful that rescues are happening. But beyond that, these perpetrators must be caught and brought to book. If not, they will continue to not just act in their in this manner, but also be very much a slap on the face of the government by these kind of videos that they do. The other part of it is also access to social media. We often talk about how everybody now has access to social media. They can talk, and that's why I don't blame Asari Dokubo as well. He has a device. He can come out and make statements that are not founded on truth or fact and just sit down and say things. I don't think we should pay much attention to him because he does not have any bona fide to speak on this matter. He's not from the area. He hasn't spoken to any people from the area. I wonder what his response to Congressman Riley would be, because you can bully the people in your country. And I think it's quite sad because I've said it again and again, that the Nigerian people, the Nigerian National Assembly, whether it's the House of Representatives or the Senate, ought to be taking the lead on this.
Correct.
They should be the ones finding mission and going to the IDP camps, giving us. But I'm grateful that we had Honorable Ugo just a few minutes ago on the show, and at least someone from that region. He represents. He represents. I think I can't remember his represent, but he's in Benue State, and he affirmed the fact that his people are being killed. These are the people that are being affected, and I've said it again. You cannot sit back in another region without any demonstrated efforts to speak to those who are affected and say, no, it's not happening, and turn a blind eye to it. We have said enough with the blame. We understand the issues. We've identified the issues. Can we now act on it? Right. The most important thing that can come out of this that has happened in the last few months is to see justice for the people who have continuously, without any support or help or response from previous administrations and governments, been killed and been forced away from their ancestral homes. Right. That's what we want to see. We want to see seriousness with regards to fighting against terrorism and bandits and those who are deliberately killing a particular group of people in Benue State, in Plateau State. That's the call we're making for today. And to even say that, according to Riley Moore, 600,000 people IDP camp, Christians, sorry. According to Honorable Ugo, there are more. There are up to, according to the government, it's about 1 million. And these people have been left unheard, unattended to for so long. We can fact-finding mission to tell us what is obvious to us, what the Nigerian government understands is a problem. That, for me, is one of the biggest problems. We must act, and we must see a solution to this problem once and for all.
Well
That's
said,
what we want.
I like the fact that you were able to tie in the fact that people have to be on ground before they make comments like, Asari Dokubo did. Well, all right. Now to politics. Rivers State Governor Similaye Fubara has composed a praise song dedicated to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu just one day after officially defecting from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. The governor unveiled the song on Wednesday while inaugurating a road project directing a praise singer with the lyrics, "If you dey support Tinubu, no follow corner, corner." Let's take a look.
If Fubara they tell you something, now this is the second answer. If you they support Tinubu, no follow corner, corner. If they hear what they talk, we they support Tinubu, we know they follow corner, corner. That is the second answer. I'm going to take that one. You know my governor tell me he said, if you get somebody tell me something. Everybody sing that way. Simple tell me something. He said, simple tell me something. He said, if you get somebody you also know Simple tell me something. Thank you.
Dr. Abati, no follow Konokana if they follow anybody. I mean, this man, the governor is clearly following in his godfather's footstep with this song. Now, this swift political realignment signals the complete collapse of PDP dominance in Rivers State. Well, meanwhile, the PDP has described Fubara's defection as a self-inflicted injury, stating that Fubara voluntarily walked into the trap that led to his exit. They say that they pity him. Dr. Abati.
Well, Governor Fubara must be one of those celebrity singers that Senator Abdul Ningi was talking about. But I'm surprised. He should have added some dance steps to it, But it looks like a coded message.
Yes.
Who is the person who is following Konakona and says he's supporting Tinubu?
We know.
Maybe he has Minister Wike in mind, because Minister Wike is claiming loyalty to President Tinubu, but at the same time he's fighting a battle in the PDP. Maybe the governor is sending a coded message, say, don't follow Konakona, come and join us in the APC.
Use your full chest.
But when all that is resolved, there will still be a leadership tussle, I imagine.
Yes.
You know, between the son and the godfather as to who will provide the leadership for the APC in that state.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we also must expect a lot to happen. Would Governor Fubara be allowed to get a second term?
Yeah.
So it's not over until it is over, but at least he has bought some peace for himself. So clearly he's saying he's not following Konakona.
He's not following Konakona, but you know, Wike has been expelled from the PDP at this moment. I mean, you also said that it was, you think it's Wike that he was throwing a jab at. Do you think so?
Obviously, I think it's Wike that's throwing a jab at, because from what I gather, some people that were interviewed, lawmakers in Rivers State, did say that their own defection was different from Fubara's own arrangement. So probably Fubara has done this to undercut Wike. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. So, but let me talk about something way more important than all this.
About
jokers.
the venerable that died. Venerable Archie, correct.
So this is close to me because, and I was in England when the story broke, and I didn't know until I discovered that Venerable Archie is actually uncle to Azubike Osumele.
Oh, Azubike.
He's Ukwani.
Inspiration FM general manager and journalist and colleague of mine that I work with.
Rest in peace.
And I had spoken to where they said that it was after they paid the ransom they released the Venerable Archie's body. And I'm seeing
600 million, I believe.
No, they didn't pay
How
the
much did
600 million. They didn't even pay, up to that. They were talking, they paid some money. And I'm seeing this pattern because they have first released a picture of a gun pointed at Venerable Archie. And we saw the body. And I'm seeing this pattern again. And I've been able to check. You can actually, from the pictures posted on Facebook, you can actually get a metadata if you talk to Meta about it and pinpoint the location where they are. We like to beg the government. If anything happens to Venerable Archie's wife, it's sad enough that something happened to him. The blood will be on this government and this administration. I think the least we can do is to at least let the woman come out and mourn the death of her husband. And for all of those that say there's no Christian genocide, when I spoke to Edgar, what Edgar told me was Venerable Archie was kidnapped with his wife from his home because he was a Christian and he was a venerable in the Anglican Church.
All right. Well, may his soul continue to rest in peace. We pray that his wife and daughter be released. Well, before we take our milestone story, let's highlight this shocking footage showing security personnel at the airport in Ilorin arresting a man who attempted to hide beneath an aircraft preparing for takeoff. The suspect, identified as Shegun Martins, was apprehended on Wednesday afternoon after he breached airside security and made his way to the Food Airways aircraft that was preparing to taxi for departure. Well, according to the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, Martins attempted to conceal himself between the aircraft tires before ground security personnel spotted and apprehended him. We're seeing this kind of story again. NCAA's Flachimogu stated that Martins was immediately handed over to the airport police for further investigation, and during preliminary interrogation, Martins reportedly told investigators that he believed the aircraft was headed for the United States and he intended to escape Nigeria by hiding in the plane's undercarriage. Okay, I don't know why.
The funny side of this
so
story
he wanted
is that
to be
I think perhaps the greatest punishment for him would have been to allow him get to his destination, come out and say that all this problem.
He will die.
I'm just saying that. I'll not come to that. But I'm just saying that. Imagine the shock. From a comical perspective. After you feel like you're going to the land of the free and you're making to be cold, you come out and it's the same heat and sun. And it's like, what's going on? But on a serious note, I think it's a suicide mission for anyone who's considering this, whether locally or internationally. And we've seen desperations amongst people who just want to leave a particular location situation, whether those who are going on stowaway boats, crossing the Channel to the United Kingdom through France, or also in Nigeria here, where people just want to go out for the prospect of a better life. And again, you know, on the bigger picture, is just speaking to the condition of the lives of people here. I will maintain that Nigerians love Nigeria. They would prefer to stay back home if conditions were better. But please don't try it. It is a suicide mission. It is signing your death. And it's better to be alive and hopeful than dead and gone.
Dr. Bati, a quick comment before I go to the
porous security arrangements at our airports.
This is one of the issues.
How did the gentleman, how did they pass security and got to the aircraft? I mean, it could have done some damage, you know, if he was a criminal, not somebody who is trying to stow away. So security is very important at our various airports.
Yes, well,
cows were once seen on the runway in our airports in this country. How much more?
We've seen cows, we've seen antelopes. I mean, it needs to be more secure.
The other day at another airport, somebody went and stole bags from an aircraft on the tarmac.
Well, these NCA officials are really having a field day at this point. Well, all right. Now, under milestones, history was made in Ekiti State on Wednesday as Governor Biodun Oyebanji led dignitaries to receive the first commercial flight at the Ekiti Agro-Allied International Cargo Airport in Ado-Ekiti, the state capital, marking a major milestone in the state's quest for economic growth and enhanced connectivity. Well, the inaugural United Nigeria Airlines flight touched down from the Abuja at exactly 11 a.m., conveying prominent passengers, including all former governors of Ekiti State. Governor Oyebanji revealed that the state has invested 49.7 billion naira in the airport project since inception, with 14 billion naira spent by previous administrators and over 34 billion naira committed by his government in the last 3 years. The airport is strategically designed to support and export agro-produce, boost value chains, and reduce post-harvest losses for farmers. Aviation Minister Festus Keyamo described the development as a new era in Nigeria's aviation sector, while the airport received a traditional water cannon salute upon the flight's arrival.
Ekiti State is blessed with hardworking and brilliant people, fertile lands, and abundant wealth. Yet, we have had to travel long distances, facing high costs.
Well, all right, congratulations to Governor Oyebanji and the good people of Ekiti State for this historic achievement with nearly 50 billion in infrastructure investment. Ekiti is now firmly positioned as a key player in agro, logistics, and regional commons, opening vast opportunities for farmers, investors, and businesses across the state. Congratulations. Dr. Abati, you were asking me which one is agro business. You want more?
I understand the thing about agro produce, but they should expand it because Ekiti people, every weekend there are parties. When my friends from Ekiti State invite me, I don't want to travel by road. Now, Owambe party in Ekiti. Well, let them expand the operation. We'll be able to go.
Absolutely. This is a historic milestone now. I'm sure that the airport will be open for more commercial flights, like Dr. Vati has requested. Congratulations to the governor of Ekiti State. Let's take our good news report now, celebrating a truly historic moment, as British-Nigerian artist Nnenna Kalu has become the first person with a learning disability to win the prestigious Turner Prize, one of the world's most coveted contemporary art awards. Now, the 59-year-old artist, born in Glasgow to Nigerian parents, was awarded the £25,000 prize on Tuesday at a ceremony in Bradford, England, for her stunning abstract sculptures and vivid circular drawings made entirely from recycled materials. Kalu creates her striking hanging sculptures by wrapping, coiling, and knotting repurposed fabrics, rope, tape, ceiling film, cling film, and even magnetic tape from VHS cassettes around tubular structures forming brightly colored cocoon-like shapes. At the ceremony, the judging panel, hey, congratulations to Nena for this groundbreaking achievement. After 25 years of dedication and facing discrimination, she has shattered barriers and made history. I mean, Joyce, I mean, this is really the most beautiful news I've heard this week. Congratulations to her. There is ability in disability. On that note, I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Well, that's all I have for you guys. On What's Trending today, I'll see you all tomorrow.
And this is where we draw the curtains on today's edition of The Morning Show. Rotus Odiri is up next with Global Business Report, and he will be speaking to Winston Taki, business journalist and analyst. Stay with us. This is still the Arise News Channel, your global standout news channel.
Thinking of banking in Africa? Think Zenith. In today's fast-moving, fast-changing world, you need a financial partner that understands your unique expectations. A bank with presence in major financial centers across the world, with the enabling platform to facilitate seamlessly, whenever, wherever, however. A bank with best-in-class financial solutions from a superb combination of technology and human touch. For easy, fast, and secure banking that creates real value. Turning dreams into reality is now in your hands. People, technology, service. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
Feel the pulse of the planet. From New York to Nairobi, London to Lagos. Our world is connected. Our stories intertwined. Join us as we navigate the news that shapes our lives. News through the voices that live it, the experts that make sense of it, and the leaders that shape it. Our network of correspondents around the world ensure that you don't miss a thing. Trust us to bring you unfiltered news, deep dives, and powerful conversations. The world never stops, and neither do we. Every second counts, and every story matters. Give us 60 minutes, and we'll give you the world.
Naira, shillings, China, yen, interest rates are up again. Commodities, bonds and shares. Seize the bulls and mingle with the beers. Derivatives and currencies. Help me understand it, please. Finance gurus, the thieves and the tricks. Portfolio is getting thick. Come on, trade. Let your money move with the wisdom. Trade, trade. Let the markets take you there. Stay up to date with business and markets every weekday on the Rights Exchange.
Coming soon to over 500 million smartphone users and 1.5 billion voices. Leke, Leke, the social platform for the world, out of Africa. By the founders of Arise and This Day Media Group, we're going to be launching with a big bang. A new homegrown social platform born in Africa and built for the world, blending community, culture, and cutting-edge AI. It's fast, culturally rooted, data-friendly, and designed to scale globally. a digital platform for youth, creators, and business. A one-stop shop to connect, share, create, and earn. It's time to end social media imperialism. This is Leke Leke, a voice for all.
Naira, shillings, China, yen, interest rates are up again. Commodities, bonds and shares. Seize the bulls and mingle with the beers, derivatives and currencies. Help me understand it, please. Finance gurus, the thieves and the tricks. Portfolio is getting thick. Come on, trade. Let your money move with the wisdom. Trade, trade. Let the markets take you there. Stay up to date with business and markets every weekday on the Rights Exchange.
You're watching Arise, the world's standout news channel. Arise News, awards, and beyond.
Hello, welcome to Arise News. You're watching the Global Business Report. Rodu Sudiri here. We're in Lagos, where there was, well, let me not say